It's about disposition. 100% you ought to lead with humanity within your own sphere of influence, and I can show you how. The first critical thing about shifting into human-centered leadership as an employee is to treat excellence as a kind of care. When we talk about being kind, humane, or heartfelt, we're not talking about being emotional and nice and the sweetest person in the room. And those things are great, but in the context of the workplace, being humane or human-centered is primarily first about excellence as an act of care. Remember that when you work within an institution, whether small or scaled, there is a requirement to prove that you should hold a spot at the table. That is an act of kindness. And one way not to be a toxic employee is not to stay mediocre. A second way you can lead with humanity as a team member is through empathetic collaboration. And that says, I'm driving for progress, but I see the people. I care for you and I honor you while I want the results. One of the most painful phenomena that I have experienced in corporate culture is what is called the brilliant jerk. The team member who is a high performer but dishonoring, disrespectful, and unkind. Make sure that is not you. A third way you can model human-centered leadership is through courageous communication. We need this so much more in the workplace, and I can tell you from experience as a leader and employer of labor that I actually look out for employees and team members or colleagues who demonstrate radical candor. People who can be respectful but still courageous enough to say the truth. There is an angle of sight that you have based on your field of play, meaning there are things that you know because of the work you do within a bigger institution that a leader may not know. It takes courage, but it is such a standout factor for you to be able to gather data based on the work you do and communicate that feedback, or when you observe gaps or areas of growth that could be transformational for your team or your institution, you are able to courageously communicate that. The fourth is vision stewardship, and this is about my best personally. To be human-centered as a team member, employee, or even a volunteer is to steward the vision that you made a commitment to serve. The moment you signed up to be a part of a team and to support or serve a vision, you were also saying, I will give my best, I'll give my time, my talent, my expertise, my experience, my competence, my passion, my relationships. I will see what it takes and give the resources to move that vision forward. A human-centered team member supports a vision they have committed themselves to. So it matters for you to actually really ask, how high value am I when it comes to using my best to help the organization achieve its best? That's human-centered. And in case you're asking, DDK, why do I have to do that? I'm not the leader. I'm doing my part. The first reason is, well, you cook what you make out of the kitchen. You get an opportunity to co-create the work culture that you ultimately belong to. The second is personal mastery. What I love to say to employees and career professionals is you always have to remember that your job is not your career, but your job is a track within your career. So at the end of the day, whatever you put into any current role goes on to frame your growth story and your career journey. Who you become goes with you everywhere. And when you choose to be human-centered in the way that you lead and steward and communicate and collaborate, those things frame your personal mastery and shape up the character, competence, and even charisma that you carry with you everywhere you go. The third is you build a track record of results and relationships, even reputation capital. That matters. Beyond your current role, you want to be remembered as a certain kind of person, someone who was kind, who was humane, who merged performance, progress, and care for people. Fourth is about the power of influence, and I think that this is really, really important for you to know that there is a way you show up and you become very attractive to leaders. Every institution, organization, or even small business, ministries as well, are always looking to build a pipeline of leaders. You may not have it by position, but you can have it by disposition. And so you can grow through the ranks simply because you model strong values that stand you out from your contemporaries. And finally, being human-centered is very good for your mental health. You know what? We spend too long at work for us not to enjoy our work or to be within a culture that is filled with rancor, negativity, or toxic office politics. And you can be one person who intentionally contributes to that kind of environment. Make sure that you work in a way to get the best out of any organization and help the organization get the best out of you. I am eager to see you on the 23rd to the 25th of October at Visionary Leadership Conference, and let's take this conversation forward. See you soon. Thank you.
Okay. I was waiting for that to end. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning for everyone joining us today. My name is Oluwaseun Newton. Everybody calls me Dr. Newton, and I'll be your host for tonight. But before we start, how are you all doing? Good evening. It's evening at my time here from Germany. I would like to know where you're joining us from and what time you are, or what time is it in your area. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I think some people are in the morning. So, yes, good evening. Good evening, everyone. Good evening from CA. I can already see the excitement. People are already putting in the chat the emojis. I would like to see that coming. Yes, 10 a.m. at Vancouver. Oh, I'm just trying to read something that Linda said. I'm here because happiness married Tony. Okay. If you've not, heard that gist, just go back to your emails. Happiness married Tony. That's interesting. But today we're going to be doing a different kind of marriage. It's visionary leadership intensive, and we're going to be here learning from our delectable coach and also the peak performer himself, Dr. Abiola. Good evening, good afternoon. I'm already seeing many 2 p.m., 10 a.m. Oh, wow. Thank you for making time today. It's going to be an exciting session and segment. And if you can turn on your video, please do that. I can already see Chioma doing that. Hi, Chioma. Hello. Thank you for turning on your video. I can see you. Yes. And if you can do that, please do. We would like to make this a wonderful conversation. Hello, Deborah. Hello, Oluwatoyin. You are welcome. Good evening. I can see the UK. I can see Canada. I can see Lagos. I can see Abuja, Halifax. I'm joining from Germany. Good evening, everyone. It is nice to see you. And do you know the amazing thing? This is completely free. So if you have that colleague, that friend, that sister, that brother that you need and you know they need to be here, please just post it on your WhatsApp status. You can find the YouTube link, and please, team, you could share the YouTube link with us on the chat. Please find the YouTube link and just share it. Share it everywhere on your Twitter. No, that's X now. On your X, I'm still old school. On your X, on your WhatsApp status, on your Instagram, on your TikTok, everywhere you can spread this good news. We are live at the Visionary Leadership Intensive, and it's intensive, but it's just short. 3 to 3 hours we're going to be here, but it's going to be packed. Everything that you need to know about being a human-centered leader, you'll get it here. But who knows? We're going to be seeing you, right? DDK said, see you soon at VLC. So before we even start all of those, how your excitement? How many of us are already at VLC 2025? Please write in the chat. Present. I would like to see your present. Present at VLC if you are already signed up at VLC. Okay, we're going to play a quick game, but before that, let's just see our present. Oh, I can already see it. Taiwo is going to be present. Who else is going to be present? About to present. What does that mean, Oluwabomi? Is it that you're going to just register after today or you're in the process of registering? I would like to understand that about to be present. Okay, I can see present, ever present. I love that. Looking forward to be present. Okay, I'm seeing all the different variations of present. Registering tomorrow. That's nice. That's nice. That's nice. All right. What interested you to join the VLI today? I would like to know. Oh, Adego Kate, we are just asking for those that will be present at next week's Visionary Leadership Conference. It's a 3-day conference and it's going to be epic on all fronts. And that's what we are saying. Okay, Faith, I trust that the supply and everything you need, you're going to get it. Christy, yes, it's going to be virtual on the first day, which is on Thursday, on Friday, and Saturday it's going to be hybrid. So there's going to be a live session happening in Lagos, and then a hybrid for those that cannot join in person. How do I register? Okay, team, please just put it. You will see all the gist on how to register. But right now, let's just settle in and have the best time ever. So my question, if you would like to raise your hand, please do. If you'd like to put in the chat, please do. What made you join this intensive? What made you click on that register button and say, okay, I'm going to be attending? What was that trigger for you? Would like to know. And secondly, what are you expecting from tonight's intensive or today's intensive, depending on your time zone? And I would like to read from you. It was a story, to be honest. Okay, I love it. Everybody saw that marriage story, and I'm like, I have to be here. Okay, okay. DDK was a trigger for me. Toxic relationship. Okay, okay. Keep it coming, keep it coming. And hello to all our YouTube family. I can see you. I'm just going to be logging in right away to see all your comments. Oh, Oluwatomi said ILDP. Oluwakemi said the toxic relationship got to me. Christy said, I got the email in my inbox. Okay, thank you for, clicking on that. Just not say, oh, okay, it's just one of those things. But you actually got to, clicking on it. Dedicate had me. Oh, nice. Oladamola says, my workplace is toxic. I want to know how to manage this. Okay, you're in the right place and you're in the right conversation. Mojisa said it was the gist. Okay, you full of gist. I can already see that there'll be more gist happening throughout this intensive and even during the VLC. So please pen your calendar, put it on your calendar from Friday, Saturday next week. And if you pay for the premium tickets, you get to attend Thursdays pre-conference event. I'm just trying to read again from everyone. First-hand email from DDK. Rosemary said toxic job employers. Anywhere Mommy DDK is, anything from Mommy DDK. Okay. I got the email and the story had me hooked. Oh, nice. And you can already see that our team is putting the link to register. So if you'd like to register, please go ahead and do that. Okay, okay. I'm trying to read it again. A friend shared the link. Jennifer, when you're done tonight, just tell your friend thank you because you're in for a blast. And beyond this, you're going to be set. Today's conversation is much needed. Tell your friend thank you when we are done. Chizobam said my workplace is toxic. Okay, I'm seeing many toxic workplaces. All right, we're going to be sitting into the conversation today. Don't go anywhere, please. Don't go doing anything extra. Please set your gaze here, set your writing journals, your pen, everything. Grab your cup of water, anything you need to be fixed right here for the next 2, 3 hours. Please do it. Okay, okay, I'm here to learn. I'm seeing that now. So what are your expectations? I've seen everything that you've already said. What are your expectations for today's intensive? I would like to see that. Then we'll go to a quick short game, just a very short game. Oh, Abidemi, I love what you said. To know if I am even the toxic person. That's a very interesting point of view. That self-awareness to say, oh, maybe it might just even be me, or maybe it might just be somebody else. That's so good. And you will get to know that today we're going to be having this scorecard, we're going to be having the fireside chat, and this is just a teaser for what's going to be happening at the Visionary Leadership Conference happening next week. Okay, so let's keep it coming, keep it coming. What are you planning to, what are you seeking to get from today's intensive? Eager to know how to maybe see a toxic relationship. I'm trying to see it. I'm eager to learn and grow as I work for and with people. I love that. I love that. Okay. Keep them coming. It always says to know how to deal with toxic boss. Okay. I'm sure that our DDK is reading all of these things and she's already finding everything that she'll be needing for our coaching session. Okay, Tessie says to know the toxic traits, to know if I have them and what to avoid. Basically, learning and growing. That's okay. All right. Oluwatomi says dealing with people generally. All right, all right. You're in the right place and you're going to be having the right conversations today. So let's just do a quick, put a finger down, quick game. So let's see. I can see Chioma and Grace. So you know what? Indulge me by just putting your two hands down. Okay, so let's do that. So put a finger down if you're registered for VLC 2025 happening next week, Thursday and Friday. Let's see. Right. I have one tiny finger down. Okay. Put a finger down if you have told somebody else to register for VLC. Have you been a VLC ambassador? Have you told your colleague? Have you told your friend? Have you put it in all your communities? Okay, let's see. Put a finger down if you've looked through the speaker lineups and you're like, I'd like to hear from this. Have you checked the website? Have you checked out the speakers coming? Let's see. If you haven't, you can do that after today's session. Put a finger down if you're excited for VLC. Okay, I'm looking at Shoma because you're my go-to person. Okay, I can see all your fingers. And put a finger down if you've met somebody in leadership that has inspired you and you would like to model from them. Okay, okay. So let's see. How many fingers do you have down at the end of this small game? I have I have five, 6 fingers down. So you should have technically 6 fingers down. If you have anything more than six, then you need to register for VLC. If you have anything, let's see, how many fingers do you have down actually? Let's see. It's hybrid. Yes, Oluwabumi, it's hybrid. 3 fingers, okay. It means that you have to register. Elizabeth, have you registered for VLC? I'm looking at you, Elizabeth. Okay. You'll be joining from Kenya. That's so wonderful. All right, all right. How many fingers do you have down? Have you told your colleagues at work? Have you told your colleagues anywhere else? Have you shared it on your WhatsApp chats where VLC is happening? You have to spread the good news of human-centered leadership, and that's what we're going to be having now. In the next few minutes, we're going to be having our lead coach and CEO and founder and convener of VLC and this intensive. We're going to be hearing from her coaching session, and we're going to be looking at the scorecard. Are you the toxic? Are you toxic or you're turning? I saw that, I'm like, oh wow, that's an interesting thing. Are you the toxic person or are you the tonic? And I'm very certain that we all want to know how that works for us. You want to know how to work in your environment. You want to know how to be a human-centered leader. And then before we move on to getting the DK on this call, how many of us have been going through the leading wheel series on YouTube? If you have, do you want to just put yes on in the chat? Let me see you. Or do you even know about that leading wheel series that is happening currently on YouTube from our lead coach DDK? I would like to know those who have, looked through it. Oh, you haven't. Okay, Fessi. After today's session, just go and check it. It's beautiful. It's very short, but it's basically explaining everything about human-centered leadership, how to know if you're thriving, how to be a solid leader. Oh, I'm seeing that many of us haven't seen that. Oh, that's it. IMMERSE is going to share it after today, and we're going to be going through it. It's the leading wheel series from our CEO, and basically just short clips of how to be a human-centered leader, what to look out for, how to be an excellent team member. Oh, that's a very, very interesting thing. If you haven't checked it out, please check it out. And without further ado, we're going to be having our lead coach come up right now. How many of us are excited for this? If you're excited for this phase to see our lead coach come up, I don't think I'm seeing it yet. Yes, yes, okay. Please put all the emojis, put everything. welcome her in grand style because every time we hear from DDK, there's always light. Every time we hear from DDK, like I find something to do, and I'm certain that it's the same thing for all of you. So you're welcome again. If you're just joining us, just stay right where you are. Don't go anywhere, don't go anywhere. Just wait and get everything you need to get today. And you'll be full, but not just full enough. There will be space for next week if you get what I mean, because this is just a teaser for what is happening, the main meal that will be happening next week at the Visionary Leadership Conference. And the next voice you'll be hearing after the welcome and the bio would be our pro coach, DDK Media.
Debola Deji-Kurunmi is a polymath, best-selling author, keynote speaker, public policy advisor, corporate trainer, and transformational coach for visionary leaders. Through her work of coaching, consulting, and capacity building, Debola deploys her extraordinary gift of unlocking potential in people, institutions, and nations. She sits over a group of companies as well as non-denominational ministries, including IMMERSE Coaching Company, a global personal transformation coaching practice. Ideation Hub Africa, a public policy and impact advisory firm. Kingdom Leaders Global Alliance, and Firebrand Movement, both faith-based organizations. Debola is a certified visionary leadership coach by the Oleg Konovalev Global Coaching Certification, a Gallup Certified Strength Coach, a certified Masteries Practitioner by the International Association of Coaching, USA, and renowned for her archetypical coaching frameworks, as well as original assessments. A highly sought-after corporate trainer for multinational corporations, SMEs, development agencies, and governments, Debola has delivered executive coaching, team building retreats, and senior leadership training for organizations including Philips Consulting, Lagos State Government, NLNG, SAMI, O&O Foundation, Chams PLC, Pernod Ricard, Seplat Energy, Accela, VFD Bridge, Ventures Garden Group, FSDH, Vetiver Capital, Luminate Africa of Omidia Network, amongst others. Debola has been severally recognized for her outstanding leadership impact, with her transformational work featured on TV, international news, and media. She has received several awards, including the 2014 New Leader for Tomorrow of the Crans Montana Forum, Geneva, 2018 Mandela Washington Fellow by the US government, one of 100 Most Inspiring Nigerian Women 2019, Nigeria's Leading Coach in 2021, 50 Most Inspiring Women in 2022, Nigeria's 50 Most Inspiring Authors 2023, ABCD Africa's 50 Most Impactful Voices 2023, Peak Performing Woman of the Year 2023, Mentor of the Year 2023, and Top 5 Nigerian Women Empowering Women 2024, amongst others. DDK, as she is fondly called, is an author of 26 books to date and has spoken across 3 continents to emerging and established leaders. Over the last decade, she has worked with corporate leaders, C-suite executives, ministry gifts, high-growth visionaries, and purpose-driven individuals serious about building institutions, amplifying influence, and scaling impact without compromising their integrity and faith. She is masterful at high-tier coaching for crafting go-to-market strategy, rapid execution techniques, visionary launch and mastery, personal reinvention, ministry growth, and wealth expansion. Please welcome Debola Deji-Kurunmi.
Thank you so much. I am really excited to be here, and all of us across our teams have been looking forward to this moment and this special opportunity to share the evening with you. I thank each of you who are with us on Zoom and the many others that are also joining us on YouTube. I can see so much excitement in the chats, and I am feeling that excitement as well. You know, we are now at just the threshold of something that is extremely transformational. You may even say life-changing, and you wouldn't be wrong. And for sure, we are now at this point within our institution where our hunger, our excitement is at an all-time high. I, I am hopeful that my internet is great, because from my side, okay, it looks like I'm back. From my side, it was frozen for a moment. Okay, but it looks like I am back with you. And I was saying that, you know, within our own institutions, we are just a role of great excitement, great delight, great anticipation for what we've got coming next week. And I hope that by the end of today, you're going to be sharing that anticipation with us. But anyway, I'm delighted to be here. I was setting a few things up, but I'm here with you now. Thank you so much for tuning in. I feel like one of the greatest miracles of our community is just the hunger that is very irrepressible, the intellectual humility to learn. You know, we have a very studied community of, you know, remarkable leaders who are themselves making such great change across their institutions. But anytime we come into the room, you're just really open, you're just really excited to learn. And that is definitely something that stands you out and is something I'm really proud of about each of you. So thank you for giving me access again to your minds, to your leadership compass, to your unique journeys through the Visionary Leadership Intensive. Let's get right to business. But before then, allow me request that you please put out the YouTube link for this event in your communities. Just take a moment while I'm tuning in to set up the presentation, you know, make that your window, that 60-second window, and go ahead to put the YouTube link across platforms that matter. The link is coming right up now in the chats for you on YouTube and on Zoom, so that you can spread the word, put it on your WhatsApp status, you know, get it out there for the groups that you belong to. And 100%, if you are a team leader of a ministry, an institution, a nonprofit, you know, wherever you are, make sure that you definitely take this link and drop it right in your teams, you know, just ensuring that people are also learning what you're learning, and we can together just ride that wave onto possibilities. I'm going to go ahead to share my screen this precious evening, and I hope that you're able to see my screen on your side. Once you can, please let me know in the chats. The links have now been shared, and we hope that you can put the word out for us, you know, in just the next few minutes as we get on into the beauty of this evening. I have to confess, the topic that we have decided to explore is a really elaborate topic. That's the honest truth. It's quite an elaborate topic, and it's not one that maybe in its most robust essence can be covered in a short time. But what I said to myself that I felt like just gave me a lot of comfort is I will be making resources available to you after this conversation that you can take with you and continue to sort of use. In fact, if you stay with me till the end, I might just hand you my entire presentation and say, hey, go over it on your own and run reviews with it. And you know that my presentations are very sweet. So I could just give that to you as a supporting material that you can take back to your team. But the conversation today is a really exciting one, and is definitely something I want you to go on the journey with us on, because I find that so many times we may be in a space where, though we have great intentions when it comes to our leadership, but we might be missing the heartbeat of what it takes to stand out. I can tell you that because sometimes what creates toxicity in the environments we work in are often unconscious, and we just want to learn in a way that helps us align our heart with our art. Can you put that in the chat for me? I want to help you align your leadership heart with your leadership art. so that if it is your intention to be a great leader, then you have the tools to actually do that. And that's what today's conversation helps us to do. So it's your heart with the art, A-R-T, so that you have that dynamism and the toolkits to really succeed as a great leader. Okay, you're welcome to the intensive. Again, it's going to be just a fantastic opportunity to learn. Use your journal. By now you should actually have your IMMERSE journal or your DDK journal. You ought to have that, even if it's digital, where whenever we come into the room, you're like, okay, my teacher is here with me and I'm definitely going to take action. And you should have that separate. By now that's already how we roll. Okay, so use your journal, take notes, make sure that you just said, Victoria is waving it. She's like, I got you. DDK, what are you even talking about? I have my journal. Okay, show up in the conversations. Let's learn together. Make it a really action-oriented experience and ensure that post this intensive, you go ahead and take all the important actions. You may find some quality people in the chat on Zoom and on YouTube that you want to connect with, and then let's make sure we make that happen. Okay, so that's how today is going to look. We are going to be intentionally learning together and insisting that nobody is going to be left behind. Alrighty, you're welcome to the intensive. We had such a great time last year, and if you were with us last year, let me know in the chats. Were you with me at Visionary Leadership Intensive 2024? I've had so many great feedback about that time, and it looks like it's not leaving us anytime soon. People still keep referencing it and saying, DDK, you blew my mind with self-efficacy equation. You taught me how to just put myself out there. And I love that you're still using the insights from Visionary Leadership Intensive. Okay, today we'll just get on to exploring what that scorecard, the toxic scorecard, looks like. It looks like a forbidding word sometimes. Nobody wants to be told they're toxic, and nobody wants to work in a toxic institution. And sometimes when we're upset with the system, we're like, this is a toxic system. And you want to be sure that you are not even the toxic one in the room. But anyway, it's a conversation worth having, and you're going to know why in a short amount of time. I will teach you a leadership navigation system that helps you understand if there's toxicity in any of the pillars I'll share with you and how to manage that. I will then, very importantly, also show you what the gold standard is, the 10 critical definers of a healthy culture, a healthy work environment, and how you can contribute to that. And then we get on into the fireside chat with Dr. Abiola Salami. Again, I will be running and pacing along. And because I am going to be sharing my resources with you subsequently, there may be some things I will just skim through and we may not be able to sit into it, but I'll make sure that the juiciest stuff will definitely be in your hands today. Okay? So let's get right into it. I have a few quotes for you that had me buzzing when I was writing them, and I thought they'll do the same for you. They'll lay a fantastic foundation for the conversation. So let's do that in a few minutes. Look at this one. High standards aren't harmful. Humiliation is. Build altitude without stealing someone's oxygen. Wow. This is powerful. And the reason I have this quote is many times, we are struggling to find the boundary between high performance and harmful systems, right? So high standards are not the problem. I'm always going to be a stickler for standards and for excellence, but we don't have to humiliate and steal other people's oxygen while trying to get the results that we crave. This is so good. Look at this one. A human-centered culture measures success by what we achieve and who we become getting there. I love this one, because one of the things I say to my team members and I believe about the workplace is that the greatest salary I can pay you is not what you earn, but who you become working with us. So isn't this one really good too? That we seek to measure the success of a human-centered culture, not merely by what we achieve, but who we become getting there. Look at this third one. Psychological safety isn't softness. It's the discipline of truth telling without punishment. Whenever we say we want to create a psychologically safe work environment, we mean that we're looking to build a system where people can be themselves, and say the truth without getting punished for it. If credit doesn't flow downstream, trust will never flow upstream. Now, this is a really good one. Anytime people complain to me about toxic workplaces, one of the recurring feedback is around credit giving, that you do the work, but you don't get credited for it. You don't get honored for it. And that weakens the trust that people have in that leader or that system. This is so good. Look at this one. Excellence with empathy outperforms urgency with fear. Every quarter, every year, every time. Look at this one. If there's excellence and there's empathy, if we lay demands on people to rise, but we care about what their personal lives and struggles could be, it will always lead us to better results than urgency that is moved by fear. This is powerful. Look at this next one. The fastest teams are the ones that don't waste energy hiding mistakes. Very, very healthy cultures do not crucify you for making mistakes on the journey to learning, though we don't want you staying there and building an identity around the one who always has tacky, error-filled work, right? But there's no way you grow without making mistakes. Respect is the minimum viable product of leadership. I believe this with all my heart, that a true leader and a great leader always shows up with respect, and their ability to inspire the respect of others causes them to become loved even within those systems. Let me tell you my own philosophy. I know that many times when people are trying to be loved, they become sugary nice. But in the workplace, I believe that a leader should prioritize respecting others and carrying themselves in a way that naturally inspires respect than they should working hard to impress and to be liked, right? Look at this one. Inclusion is not a poster. It's who speaks, who decides, and who gets developed. It's not just that we're an inclusive institution. We're an inclusive firm. Everybody's welcome. If we're inclusive, then people get to speak. Then the decisions are made in the favor of the people, and then talent gets developed, right? Culture turns every meeting into a message. So decide what yours are preaching. What are your own meetings preaching? Culture turns every meeting into a message. Every time team members gather, when we're intentional about culture, then we are always making our meetings a platform to insist on who we are. We're always making our meetings a platform to reward what matters to us. We're always making our meetings a platform to heal, to let people be seen, and to bring optimism and hope, right? We don't fix people with pressure. We unleash with creativity, fairness, and care. This is so good. So I'm going to give you one chance to tell me the quotes that have your mind buzzing already. Would it be this one about high standards or a human-centered culture, psychological safety, how credit flows and how trust is built, excellence with empathy, better than urgency with fear, the fastest teams don't waste energy, hiding mistakes? Or are you fascinated by this one? Respect is the minimum viable product of leadership. I love it. It looks like this one is coming through a lot. Inclusion, culture turns every meeting into a message. We don't fix people with pressure. We unleash people with clarity, fairness, and care. Righty. I definitely love the feedback running through on this side. Thank you so much for sharing with me what you find very outstanding. And I definitely love how Anuluapo is confirming that respect over sugary nice is definitely the way to go. You may know or you may not know, but this is such a powerful time for us at IMMERSE Coaching Company. Some of you are on this call and you are already registered to join us at Visionary Leadership Conference. But if you're not, look, this is not that kind of conference where you're just like, yeah, another thing happening, maybe not. It's not. This is the kind of conference that you plan to attend, you take a leave to join. It's just next level stuff. I'm telling you, it's for employees, it's for team leaders, it's for employers of labor, it's for visionaries, it's for ministry gifts. Anywhere you are, if it matters to you to lead with humanity, if you want to build the toolkits to inspire and mobilize others to stand out, and to build with you, if you want to heal and not break the spirits of others, if you want to architect systems and cultures that stand the test of time, and if you're an entrepreneur, you don't want to permanently work in your business but on it while others support you and love and enjoy working with you, you want to be at Visionary Leadership Conference this year. No kidding, we really cooked. I'm telling you, you know that we take pride in creating value on value. But I dare say that this VLC 2025 is next level. Like, no kidding, it's extra next level. I don't know if you already know that alongside the conference, we're also hosting the Human Heroes Awards. We're honoring individuals and institutions that model human-centered leadership. And that one on its own is just rather epic. But anyway, believe me, our keynote speakers hold the key to your notes. No kidding. Look at what we cooked for you. Tell me when last you saw a gathering with the finest, most iconic speakers like this in one room from Thursday to Saturday. We've got Fela Durotoye with us. We've got Nia Desanya with us. We've got the CEO of Sterling Bank PLC, Abubakar Suleiman. Imagine that. We've got the first and only female managing director at Cadbury PLC with us, Oyemika Adeboye. And then we've got one of corporate America's top 10 voices on women's leadership, the author of the renowned Epic and the founder of Imagine Labs. She's the creator of what is called the Decade Game, Caroline Bocluse. She is a very beloved speaker at Ivy League universities across the world, and she's an advisor to C-suite female leaders making a difference globally. Caroline Bocluse will be with us. Look, we ate this thing, we cooked this thing, we did this thing. It's really next level. And that's not all. Do you know that we also have expert mentors and panel speakers that really have weight joining us? Dr. Niborire, a neuroscience researcher and practitioner. We've got Temi Dali, the group executive human capital and corporate services at Sterling. We've got Bankole Williams. We've got Kemi Odobanjo, who is a partner at McKinsey. We've got Ify Chuks Adizi, who is the MD at Move Africa. Like, think about the caliber of conversations that we're bringing to you. And that doesn't even end it. We're still going to lead you into your specific community of leadership practice, where you break out into a private virtual room with people of like minds based on what you're working on and what you're passionate about. And then we still have these mentors who are going to be in the room with you across those different leadership camps. I mean, so you might get into a room and you have Morenike Maleng there. If you're in entrepreneurship, you may be in the room with Tricia Bays. You may be in the room with Dr. Wura. If you are in academic and research leadership, you may be with Dr. Foy. If you are in media, you may be with Dami Oguntunde. If you are in spiritual leadership and ministry, you may be with Omomi or DTB. If you're in policy and nonprofit, I could go on and on. If you're a career practitioner, you could be with Dr. Emmanuel Tafa. We're not joking. We are not joking. 100%, I'm telling you that this ought to now become the kind of annual investment that you intentionally make every year, not only even into your leadership, but into your mindset, your career, your competence. And this year, for the first time, we are going to give you digital certificates of leadership when you go through this conference. It's extra special. It's extra special, I promise you. And I definitely want you to be in the room. You must know that it's a hybrid conference, meaning that Thursday and Friday are virtual. Saturday is hybrid. Everybody joins us virtually on Thursday and Friday. And then on Saturday, if you can be with us in Lagos, Nigeria, come over. But if you can't, then we're live streaming to you and you're not missing any part of the juices. This, you deserve it, is how I would say it. You deserve it. I have been making investments into my own education in Ivy League universities, coaching certifications, private one-on-one coaching with, top coaches in the world. I've invested several tens of thousands of dollars in learning, and 100% it has continued to set me apart. You see, this is the kind of room that you come and you're not only going to learn, you are also breaking your own mental limitations. You're telling yourself that you deserve to be in a room like that, that you deserve to learn what you will learn, that you deserve to open your mind to that caliber of inspiration and insights. It's breathtaking on every level. And I really want to challenge you to take action. We close our gates sacrosantly on Monday. Like, do you understand? Like, we're good. We are actually very good to go. And by Monday, we will take no additional, by Tuesday morning, we will take no additional person into the conference. So it's the kind of thing that right after we're done today, you just want to get right on it. I've not gotten a chance to give you one very sweet gist. It's the fact that on Friday, I'm going to be bringing you, I dare say, Harvard grade coaching masterclass. I'm going to show you what is called the human-centered leadership model. And then I will also offer you for absolutely free the human-centered leadership score. And you're going to be able to take this assessment. It will tell you how you rate across key competencies. And then you come into the conference and then I'll guide you on how to build your action plan to do better with your leadership. And when we say leadership, it's not positional. It's about how you show up and who you're becoming across your spheres of influence. So thank you so much. If you're already registered, can you put in the chats for me if you are registered already? If you're in, just let me know already. Let us celebrate you if you are in already. Of course. Ezeaha is in. That is expected. Ezeaha is a very beloved and highly respected part of our community. Grace is in. Rotiola is in. Of course. Temitope is in. Look at my people. Blessing is in. And Kem is in. My lady both. I don't know how far gone, because I've been here just so excited. I'm like, of course, Bodam is in, but apparently things were already happening. I don't know where you stopped hearing me, but I'm glad to be back in the room and trusting for the best with this particular network. So let me know if you're able to hear me again in the chats. Am I back? Can you hear me? All righty, lovely. So thank you everyone who is in. On YouTube, I can see Temilolua, Roslyn, Eniola, Anuluapo, Faith, Josane, Tesimi, Amarachi, Oluwabumi. Well done, and thank you for making that big commitment to join us at VLC. All righty. What's the fuss? Why are we in this room talking toxic? What's happening? What's amiss? You know, isn't everything good at our workplaces? Are we all well fed and happy? What's stressing us? Why do we see the need to get into an entire intensive and start to sit into the conversation around, workplace toxicity, but it's big deal. It's really big deal. MIT Management Review 2022 is highlighting that toxic culture is 10.4 times more predictive of attrition than salaries. Please, if you're able to hear me, I can. Let me see. Looks like I'm frozen again. Righty, am I back? I just see that everyone is frozen. That's how I get a sense. You can hear me. Okay. Alrighty. So this is showing us that people are leaving institutions because of toxicity more than they are leaving because of a low salary. That's so powerful, right? We have the Society of Human Resource Management Workplace of 2019 highlighting that US businesses lost $222 billion over 5 years due to turnover that was caused by toxic workplace cultures. Employees working under toxic managers are 48% less productive and 66% more likely to quit within that year, is Gallup 23 saying to us. Look at that. High trust companies outgrow low trust ones by 50% in productivity, 76% in engagement, and 40% in retention. Those are very significant figures. Those are radically significant figures, right? And it's giving us insights around what we are observing as far as the power of trust in shaping productivity, engagement, and retention. Okay. Oluwaseun, please be my internet police and just let me know in the chats if I get hung up. Okay, thank you kindly. And look at this, companies scoring in the top percentile for well-being and inclusion show 2.5x higher profitability and 3x higher creativity scores. So companies that have, higher well-being and higher inclusion among members of staff are more productive, more profitable financially, and their members of staff demonstrate higher creativity. So toxicity has a high cost. And let's say you're listening in and you're saying, DDK, this doesn't apply. I have 3 people working with mine or just a very small business. It is better that you fix the seed of the DNA of your culture early, and you can multiply that as you grow. You see this. And let's say you're a team member, you're saying, yeah, correct, but there's nothing I can do about it. Let's get into the conversation and see the growth that you might be able to attain as a way of influencing your organization's culture. So before you are permitted to throw toxicity out again and you say it's a toxic environment, that's a toxic boss, my team members are toxic, let us have agreeable definitions that are based on best practice for thinking about the toxic work environment going forward and what that truly means, as well as being able to observe and rate ourselves to see where we play. But before I go ahead, I'm going to ask you to put in the chats for me, have you ever been in a toxic work environment? Or have you ever worked with someone and a member of staff or a team member that you consider toxic, a leader that you consider toxic, an experience that you consider toxic? Okay, Isaiah says, nope, I haven't. Yes, yes, I have. I'm presently one. Yes, yes, I have. Yes, I have. Nope. Yeah, a big yes. Yes, I have. On YouTube, it's yes, ma. Yes, okay. No, it's not yet coming on YouTube. This was when I was asking, can you hear me? Okay, it's coming now. Yes, no. But so many yeses on this side. Yes, no, I haven't. Yes, yes. Okay. My former job, my ex. Okay. Thank you for sharing. We definitely have. Okay, Elizabeth says partially. Lynn says yes, yes. I see the yes in with many S's, right? My PPA during NYC was so toxic, you see. And even the exes came into this toxic conversation. Rosalinda says, I'm currently one. Abiola says, my supervisor in school. So it resonates. And if you've ever been affected by a toxic workplace or a toxic team member, you 100% want to make sure that you are not one. And then you want to make sure that you know how to manage those situations. You know how to manage those cultures and those environments. So whether you are in one or not, you want to make sure that you are unconsciously not creating it. Now, if I asked, as a leader, have you ever had a team member say you're toxic? You may not be able to answer that because it may not have come to you, but it might have been said, right? But what we just want to make sure to do is that we're becoming intentional about our understanding. At the baseline, and as we go along it to be clearer, but at the baseline, you would find some or all these factors in a toxic work environment. A toxic workplace is a sustained environment where patterns of disrespect, exclusion, fear, unethical conduct, psychological or physical harm, and retaliation are tolerated and rewarded. It's different from a demanding environment. It's different from a fast-paced environment. It's different from a high-performing environment, right? So when you talk about toxicity in the workplace, it's systemic harm. It's harm that is permitted because it flows through the system. Do you see this? It flows through the system, and you're going to see some of these factors consistently at play. You see disrespect, you see cliques, and you would see, factions. You would see fear, intimidation, things that dishonor your values being required of you. You would see psychological harm. You would see retaliation or victimization. Those are some things you definitely would find within a toxic work environment. So it's toxic not just because one person was unkind. It's toxic because it's persistent, it's continual, it's sustained, and it's tolerated within the system. And in very heightened cases, it's even permitted and rewarded, right? So your quick litmus test for, is this high performing, is this a high performance environment, or is this a harmful environment? If people regularly feel unsafe to speak, if they are disapproved for disagreeing with what a leader has said or what everybody believes, if they are punished for making mistakes, if they hardly understand their role or the vision of the institution, if they feel pressure to violate their ethics, then it's not high performance. It's now harm. You are now in the territory of harm. So if you see these factors, it's not that, oh, we're very high performance and we're go-getters and we go for the gold, we go for the results. If these factors are consistently at play, then it's toxic. And you can be toxic unconsciously. You can be toxic while having good intentions. But whatever you permit within your culture and whatever is sustained in your culture is the true essence and fragrance of that culture. Do you see this? So hopefully as we go along, a number of things could happen. Some of us may find that we were not in toxic cultures. That would be beautiful, and we can readjust ourselves. Some of us may find that we didn't mean it to happen that way, but we, in some areas, are modeling toxicity, and we can back off from these behaviors, you see. But let's run along. The 3-part toxic scorecard will show you 3 key pillars that come together for you to be able to say that this is a toxic system. The first is the culture is toxic. That's an organizational system that reliably produces disrespect, exclusion, fear, favoritism, or unethical outcomes. And speaking up is usually costly. So it's about the culture. It's what is permitted, what is recurring, what is continual. The second dimension is you may find within this kind of system that it's not just the culture, how everybody behaves. There are also specific leaders who model the use of power in a way that humiliates, exploits, or endangers others, in a way that increases your sense of fear, and nobody is held accountable for bad behavior. The third factor is with the team member. If toxicity is experienced in the workplace, it's about the culture, it's about the leader, it's about the team member. It could be one of 3, it could be 2 of 3, it could be all 3. When it's all 3, you are already sure that, we have big issues here. A toxic team member has recurring patterns of negativity, manipulation, disrespect, or irresponsibility. And the way they behave always creates an energy around the team. They're difficult to be with, it's tough to collaborate with them, and they hinder or weaken our performance together, right? When they all come together, then you know that you are now in a toxic workplace. That intersection clarifies for you that you are in danger zone, right? Now, put in the chats for me which you've experienced. Have you been in a toxic culture? You joined a team, joined an institution, and you're just like, why do they behave this way? Why is there an unspoken code of fear and pretense and taking other people's credit? Which have you experienced? I want you to specify, is it all 3? Is it the culture and a leader, but you had great team members? Or it was the leaders were great, but there was a difficult team member, okay? It was a toxic team member. It was a toxic culture, all 3, okay. So you know what I'm talking about. Whenever you really want to define that toxic scorecard, and when you as a leader within an institution want to profile your own institution, you have to ask, what kind of culture do we have? Which kind of leaders do we have? And which kind of team members do we have? The moment you can break your profiling down across these 3 pillars, you are 100% going to be able to know where your key issues are, right? Julie says, I've experienced the 3, very hurtful and mesmerizing, right? So let's start off with the toxic culture. I've said to you that this culture is an environment that allows harmful behavior. The power dynamics, and I could sit into the power dynamics a bit more. Anywhere you see that power is held unfairly and used against others, and there is silence when these harmful behaviors are practiced, you are likely dealing with a toxic culture. Nobody is able to call it out, and it can continue for a sustained period. It's likely a toxic environment, right? The power dynamics, the emotional climate is very tense. People keep quiet because they're afraid to be, criticized or victimized. People are intimidated, credit is taken, people are fearful, people are burnt out, they don't feel a sense of belonging, then you're likely, or salary is withheld. Yes, 100%, we could go on and on with examples. But if you see it sustained, normalized, tolerated, then you know that you're likely dealing with a toxic culture. Now, one big thing you must know is that a toxic culture could actually be a culture that gets results. The only thing is that it is at the expense of the people as against working with the people and through the gifts of the people. So I want you to be careful not to esteem results over, the atmosphere within which the results are gotten. Do you see this? So one big thing you have to keep in mind is that the performance may be great, but it's often at the expense of the people. And that's why one of the quotes we looked at was that in a human-centered culture, we're not only looking out for what we achieve, but who we become while achieving it. Do you see this? So don't look at your own environment and say, well, we get our results, we get going, we incrementally succeed, and we're very profitable. You have to ask, how do the people feel here? What is the well-being of the people? What is the state of their soul? What is their joy while working with us? The other thing you must know is that a toxic culture may start with the leaders, but becomes gate-kept and sustained by the people, by the team members. So if you stay long in a toxic culture, you are going to become a defender, an advocate, and an equal perpetuator. You see, so the way you remember this is you may find that there was a way you were treated when you just joined an institution, and unconsciously you begin to treat a new intern that way when they come into the institution. Because you just got it so hard and you're feeling like, yeah, just get going and get the results for me. You see. Let's explore some of the factors really quickly. If you're in a healthy culture, let's talk about standards. The bar is meant to be high. If you're in a healthy culture and it doesn't stretch you, you are unsafe because your potential will be clipped. Stop being afraid of high standards. In a healthy culture, the bar is high, but there will always be clarity about the goals that are being set. There will be resources to achieve these results, and you will get coaching to guide your path on the journey to the results. So stop saying a system is toxic because you are partnering with mediocrity. Stop saying a system is toxic because it makes you uncomfortable. There will be high standards. Yes. But in a toxic culture, the goals keep moving. You are never clear about what is expected. Demands feel impossible. You are told to keep doing more while you have insufficient resources. The clarity is low. The support is weak. So when you are in a toxic culture, it never feels clear exactly what you're meant to be doing. You are always getting new demands springing up and you don't know how to work on it. You don't feel like you have enough resources and you feel like you are thrown to the deep end to figure things out alone all the time. That's a big sign of a toxic culture, right? A second factor is around urgency. A healthy culture has urgency toward results, but it helps you prioritize. You are not told to do everything at the same time. This is the focus of this season. Let's get it going. And when we are done with the focus of this season, we'd have a short time of recovery. But in a toxic culture, you are permanently in crisis mode. You are always quenching fires. You are criticized for even sleeping. The idea is that you don't have a life. In a toxic culture, don't have a life and is highly celebrated. Like you are permanently working. It's not that you have a project, a high demand project season. It's just always so, right? You are called lazy if you want to have a weekend. You are called lazy if you want to go pick your children. You are called dishonoring of the vision and you don't really want to grow because you want to spend time with family. So in a healthy culture, there's urgency. You have to prioritize. You may have a high demand project ceasing, but you get to recover again. Do you see? Let's talk about recognition. In a healthy culture, recognition is transparent. Everybody knows who did the work and why they're getting promoted. Everybody knows how people are being celebrated for their contribution. It's specific, it's clear, it's consistent. In a toxic culture, one of the biggest things you will see is credit theft. A leader will claim that they did the work that a team member did, right? A CEO would say, this project would not have succeeded without me, right? No matter how hard the people work, their contribution is missed. And then recognition is used as control. There's a HR leader who is in charge of promotion or in charge of bonus. And if you're not nice to them and they don't like you, then you will miss your opportunity. You see this. Collaboration. In a healthy culture, there's openness, there's trust. You feel like you are sharing that success with other team members. But in a toxic culture, there's competition, there's gossip, and there's blaming, right? Everybody's working against everybody. Sometimes it's even your leader that is slamming your heads together, right? Oluwatosin says this is literally half of Nigerian small companies, right? A leader puts two people and hits them against themselves. Don't you know there's only one promotion? And why are you friends with this person? Are you here to fraternize? Do you see this? If anything goes wrong, people blame themselves. And there's a lot of back-end gist. A toxic culture always has so much happening behind. It's not in the open. That's toxicity. Let's look at the atmosphere. The atmosphere of a healthy culture has to be calm. There has to be a lot of clarity. You know what you're working on. You know what is expected. There has to be mutual respect for one another. There's optimism. There's hope. There's a positive energy. It can be done. Let's go for it. But the atmosphere in a toxic culture is tense, is cynical, it drains you. There's emotional volatility. You don't know what will trip off somebody, and everybody's on fire again, right? And then sometimes it's indifference. You can tell that team members are just in this institution till they can get a better job. They don't feel that sense of connection. They don't feel like we're doing something meaningful and we're building something powerful. And I'm privileged to share this space with you. You see a lot of indifference, or you see volatility. Do you know who I am? Don't talk to me that way. Because everybody's suspicious of everybody. So when you hear just someone make a presentation and they're like, we're still waiting for operations to get back to us. No, operations has never, please. You're just like, no, we've sent the email on the phone and we copied, and you're just like, no, I didn't mean like that, please, because I know you people now. It's always volatile. You leave meetings, you are drained, you are tired, you're spent. My brethren, you are in a toxic work environment. Fairness. Let's talk about healthy cultures. Policies are clear, standards are clear, rewards are clear, consequences are applied consistently. This is what we stand for. This is what we prefer. This is where we want to go. This is what we want. But in a toxic environment, favoritism is high. Bias is strong. Who you know matters than what you do. Okay? Some of you may already be feeling stressed by this experience, like, why we like this? Okay, let me go try. I've been told that my network is still really breaking. Okay, I've tried to make a switch again, and I'm hopeful for the best. Okay, Faith says it's better now. So I see Isaiah saying, I'm actually tired already. So imagine people who work within cultures like this, right? Yes, you're feeling stressed and becoming indifferent, Damilola says. So does this give you clarity? Now confess, anyone listening and saying, okay, DDK, I'm in a high-performing environment, but it made me uncomfortable and I called it toxic. That's who I want to hear from. Because many of you already make me understand that you are in a toxic environment or you've been there before. But if you're seeing that your culture may not be perfect, but it's not toxic, can you put that in the chat? Where you're like, okay, I get it now. We're not toxic. We may not be where we want to be, but we're decent, we're safe, we can grow. This is definitely not, I'm not in that institution that I thought was toxic. Okay, thank God. You are the reason I'm here. I'm glad for people like that. Okay, Oluwakemi says, my culture is not perfect, but it's not toxic. It's okay. If first says, look, it's toxic. Just don't bother about it. It's definitely toxic. I know what I'm saying, DDK. Right. If you're in a toxic environment and we can't begin to fully unpack the conversations, hopefully by the time we have Dr. Abiola on the Fireside, we can make it practical and share some things. But I'll pass these resources to you. These are some important steps you have to start to take. If I were to highlight 3 top steps to take when you're in a toxic environment, the first is actually to have an exit plan. I'm telling you. You have to have an exit plan, except you are a leader within that institution and you have a long-term vision to build it, and you are ready to get into culture architecting, which I will teach you at Visionary Leadership Conference. I'll teach you how to architect your culture. But if you are not a leader, you are not the owner, and you don't feel sent to be a culture architect to create a change, build an exit plan. It could be a 6-month exit plan, it could be a 12-month exit plan, but you have to build that plan. The second I would say is you have to document a lot. You have to really ensure that your conversations are official. Emails, keep a very clear record of key issues, events, expectations, priorities. Make a strong practice of that. The third is to find safe allies and not to create a gossip circle. Do not dump down to the level of the toxicity within the environment. It's easy to be influenced, and it happens to many believers, happens to many kingdom people, happens to many value-driven leaders. You have to become intentional to find your own allies who are going to be my own circles of trust and people that carry my own kind of perspective. Sometimes you find them in the system. Sometimes you find a company outside the system. And I mean like your own small company where you can come to and say, please pray with me, or this is what I'm experiencing. Let's explore thoughts together. How do I navigate it? Right? But do not join the gossip circle and don't create one, but find your own allies that help you regulate yourself, give you courageous feedback, and help you maintain your high standards in the way that you engage the system. If you've been in a toxic culture for a while, I'm going to ask you to go spend some time with Tomisin Balogun, the joy merchant, or spend some time with Funmi Ayowole, the soul healer, and just go and take care of your soul. Go and take care of your emotions, because there's likely already a pile of pain that is underneath your soul. And maybe I should add that one of the biggest challenges with a toxic system is that it breaks your spirit, and it tampers with your sense of identity. So you have to create external systems in your life or external platforms that allow you use your gifts. You must continue to use your gifts in ways that you're being celebrated and appreciated, so that you don't doubt your ability to succeed and your ability to create change. Do you see? It definitely really matters. Okay? Don't forget that when we get into VLC, you are also going to be able to open up yourself even more to what you need to impact the cultures that you're in. If you're not leaving tomorrow, you still have to impact those cultures. And you have to also cleanse yourself of the practices you have imbibed that is not safe for the kind of leader that you want to be. Okay? So keep that in mind. But for sure, I'm glad that many of you have a clear sense of the kind of culture you are in and the one that you should be aspiring toward. Let's talk about the toxic leader. If you ask me, I would say that of the 3 pillars of the toxic culture leader or team member, I find that the most impactful for sustaining a toxic system is the leader. If there's a toxic leader, it is likely that the harmful behavior will persist. A toxic leader uses their power, position, or influence in ways that harm people. If we end it here, we're actually good. No matter how limited your understanding of leadership is, this is what you must never forget. Before you go to Harvard, before you come to VLC, but you will come to VLC, before you read any book on leadership, before you take any assessment, the way I want you to live your life going forward is to determine to be someone who will never break someone else's spirit because you are above them, because you are placed in authority over them. The moment you can fix this area and you establish that conviction, you will gradually begin to move toward the balance of a healthy, performing, and radically candid leader. Do you see this? Any leader who uses their position, their authority, their influence, or their power in ways that harm people, weaken trust, or damage the culture within which they serve, they may be competent, they may be high performing, they may be respected for their brilliance, but you don't want to be a brilliant jerk. It's not just about performance or achieving results. You want to make sure you're not doing it with fear and manipulation or control. You want to make sure that you bring clarity to every room, that you are fair and respectful, and you are inspirational, right? So a toxic leader may be effective at performance, but often destructive to people. And do not say that it's personality and that's just how I am. The moment you come into leadership, you have a higher requirement for regulation. Now, can we step back for a moment? And can I just highlight something that can transform your leadership? How you respond as a leader ought not to be equivalent to the behavior or the performance of the people that you lead. If you allow it to be equivalent, meaning if I'm dealing with a low performer, I'm going to be brash, disrespectful, and flippant because this person is just a frustrating person, they are ultimately going to shape your leadership identity in a way you will not like. In fact, one of the litmus tests of a visionary employer is that the moment you start to work with a person who can make you become who you are not, then you let them go. So Oluwatosin says toxic leader equals Jezebel spirit. But I dare say that a toxic leader can become such a leader if they work with a Jezebel spirit. Do you understand this? A good person can become a toxic leader if they don't manage their emotions towards a difficult person, toward a low performer. So I need to put that out to you so that you don't defend your dysfunction. No matter how low performing, pretentious, irresponsible, incompetent, lazy a team member is, you must not come to their level. You must shape your own leadership compass, or else you will become toxic unconsciously. Have you found yourself always almost raising your voice when you're dealing with a particular person? Your entire blood pressure and sugar level is rising because you're just like, where did this kind of human being come from? What manner of misfortune introduced such a person? But you can't lead that way. Or else you will look back and you will ask, who have I become? I'm telling you. So in case you hear some of the things I will go on to highlight very quickly, and you may feel like, DDK, I wish you understand the kind of people I'm dealing with. I'm saying to you that you have to go back and ask yourself, who do I want to be, regardless of who I'm dealing with? And I think the easiest way you can understand this may be with domestic caregivers. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Domestic caregivers. You are a kingdom woman everywhere else. But the moment you are in the kitchen with just a particular domestic caregiver, even the angels are like, did they exchange our clients? Who is this in this house? Who is this? But you just have to really frame who you want to be. And let me tell you one of the litmus tests of leadership separation. If you are with people or a person who always brings out a part of you that you've walked through and you are not anymore, it's a big sign that they should leave your life. I'm telling you. Because it's a kind of attack that many leaders don't pay attention to. It's a kind of attack. They trip you over and then they hold a testimonial and an evidence against you of being an odd kind of person, whereas they're constantly aggravating your spirit. Isaiah, what part do you want me to repeat? A litmus test of leadership separation. Oh, you got it. Okay, Isaiah says she got it. Thank you on YouTube. I see that you're giving me good notes. Ifeoluwa, thank you. So don't forget this, please. Don't. You are responsible for that. And you see it in ministry too, right? In fact, I feel like ministry has more of it. There's so much toxicity that is just covered because people don't know how to have those tough conversations, right? What would you see with a toxic leader? If a leader is healthy, they will use authority to protect, empower, and enable people to succeed. What a healthy leader does is they use their position for your advantage. A toxic leader will use their authority to dominate, intimidate, and control, right? They will make power about themselves and they will create dependency. You can't stand on your own. One of the easiest litmus tests of a toxic leader is you always need them. They don't empower you to come into independence and autonomy. You'll be criticized for taking any little step without asking. Why did you send email? You know, you can't think for yourself. They create dependency, they create fear until you start limping because you start becoming unsure about your ability to win. You see this, but a healthy leader, 100%, is secure. That's a big sign, and it's a rare sign of a healthy leader. They allow you to shine within the same infrastructure of the vision they're building. Take it, go think about it, own it, build it. You see this. Okay, I love it, Vanessa. You have to be in a visionary leadership conference. If you want to recover from toxicity, you need to be in that conference. That's what I'm telling you. A healthy leader holds themselves accountable. They hold their team accountable. They own their mistakes. They correct their course if they've gone on a path that is wrong, right? But a toxic leader will blame the subordinate for failure. It's never them who's wrong. They will hide evidence. If they make a mistake, they will write the history. They'll tell you they told you. When you say, but I sent an email to ask, they'll say they called you on a weekend and you are the one who forgot. All of those weird things happen in a toxic leadership setup, right? Communication will be transparent with a healthy when you're dealing with people. Recognition will be the team movement, health leader. As I'm spotlighting only the ones that they prefer. Am I breaking again? Please let me know. Can you hear me? Am I good? Sure, just not for me. Am I good? Okay. Oh, my audio is bad. I'm breaking again. I see. Is it better again? Okay, I'm back. Thank you. This is big deal. Okay, this one is big deal. Please watch out for this. No matter how imperfect a leader is, if a leader invests in coaching you, gives you opportunity for your talent to be stretched and developed, I want to encourage you to please honor them and don't give up on that relationship too quickly. One of the highest signs of a healthy leader is they want to see you grow. They want to see you become, they want to see you maximize your potential. Can I say that this particular space happens to be a very sensitive space because they could unconsciously push you too far too quickly that you now almost resent them because you're getting into situations where you feel embarrassed, you feel like you're not able to carry the work and they're not pleased with you, and it's creating a tension. So it can be a space where you're not sure what's happening, but I want you to hold it with humility. Because if a leader challenges you to growth, you're going to have that growth for the rest of your life. It's yours. You see this. But if you find leaders who withhold opportunity and who always gatekeep, you always have to go through them, that's toxicity, you see. And we'll put one more in there. Leaders multiply leadership capacity. Anywhere you have leaders, don't forget this, there will be more leaders. Anywhere you have true leaders, there will be more leaders. Anywhere you have true leaders, there will be more leaders. If you say you are a leader, just look behind you. Who is coming along? Just look at the capacity, the gravitas, the excellence of those around you. It will show you if you're a leader or you are still just, creating followers around you. It's a big factor. And if a leader is toxic, just look at the energy around them. Morale will be low, trust will be weak, and people will ultimately keep leaving, right? Now, talk to me first from you being a leader yourself. Tell me, how would you describe yourself? If you were to rate your healthy leadership on a scale of 1 to 5, put a score for me. Say healthy leader and put your score on it. Like Didike, I'm a 3, I have grounds to cover, but I've also done well. Didike, I'm a 4, I'm acing this thing you're talking about. Didike, I'm a 1, I'm shocked at the grounds I have to cover. I'm a 3, I'm a 4, well done. I'm a 3, I'm a 4. I'm a 4.5, I'm a 3, okay. A 5, a 3, a 4, well done. Very, very proud of you, okay? So good job. Keep making that progress. If you are a 3, a 4, a 5, I don't know why you're not in VLC. I wouldn't even want you to rate yourself a 5 because you have so much ground you could still cover. But for sure, I'm proud of the steps you've already taken on that path, okay? Well done. If you are interacting with toxic leaders, now I will show you how not to be and how not to be a toxic or how no longer to be a toxic leader when you come into VLC. That's the whole point. The entire conversation at a visionary leadership conference is to take you from toxic to human-centered. And is to take you not only from toxic to human-centered, but to take you from human-centered to ultra-human-centered, so that no matter how great you are already, you can shift to the next level. I think that's beautiful because I continue to experience that. No matter the grounds you've covered, there are fresh spaces of elite excellence in leadership. And one of the finest places I want you to go is not merely in the performance part of things and the results you can create. And it's not merely in the impact you make in others. I want you to go to the next level where you now begin to disciple leaders who also disciple leaders. I want you to be in your 30s and your 40s and you're already having a transgenerational pipeline of healthy leaders. What a blissful thing. You know what, you'd be able to carry that with you, that the leaders who were raised by you have raised leaders who have raised leaders. Oh my God. That's where you want to go next. I love the way Chioma is just smiling so softly and sweetly, listening to me. So we want to take it to the next level because we're starting to see when we lead with humanity, we're not just achieving our vision, we are healing generations. People already come from a history of pain. You want to make sure that you don't break spirits while trying to build systems. You see this. So here are some things to keep in mind when you are interacting with a toxic leader, and if you know that person one-on-one, then I know some of the things I'm highlighting may resonate in specific ways for you to carry along as you move forward. Okay? I've said to you that at VLC, we're ensuring that we're seating into the matter of not only transitioning from toxicity of any form to human-centered leadership, we're also leading you on to the toolkit for human-centered leadership that becomes a legacy of this, or within even your corporate. Okay? Lagging again. Am I back? Please let me know. Okay, I'm back. So what is the third leg within this system that helps you know, hey, what kind of toxic environment am I in? Or what kind of system am I in? What's the third leg? We've talked about the toxic culture, the toxic leader. What's the third pillar that you, fantastic, Rachel, thank you. The toxic team member. This is where I'm not going to be looking at anybody. I'm just going to be facing my slides, because who knows, you may find that there's something for you. I struggled to put this one together because there were at least 10 things I wanted to show you, but I said, look, DDK, this is an intensive. When we get to the conference, it will become clearer to us. But who knows, right? I want to thank every toxic person I've ever met on my journey. I want to take a moment to honor them for their contribution to my transformation. I want to bless them for helping me now have the heart I have now. I'm so grateful for their help in leading me on this path of becoming a better kind of human being and a better kind of leader. And I also want to thank them for giving me the toolkit that makes me smell them from afar. From a first interview conversation, I'll just be like, nope, go back home. I'm not doing this with you. I know the questions to ask, and I'm so grateful for them. But anyway, let's look at it. A toxic team member will always erode team harmony. Look, there are many other things, right, that I can say to you. Some of them are right here on the screen. But the one thing I never want you to forget, whenever someone in your circle or on your team holds the energy of the team hostage, drops the morale, the optimism, the positivity of a team, they are toxic. They are toxic. Whenever you find a person whose recurring patterns of behavior, of speech, of backhandedness, disrespect, irresponsible actions, always, whenever they're within that team dynamics, they bring chaos, they bring discord, they just bring something that rests in the atmosphere and is just uncomfortable. They are toxic. They are toxic. Look, so can I just take a moment to say, please take care of your own inner world. Take care of your inner world. Unhealed people just carry around something like a foul spirit. It's just in the atmosphere. And sometimes you think that the system is the problem, the leader is the problem, but everything is pointing at that person. Just really care and purify your inner space. If you find yourself always reading meaning to everything, always feeling misunderstood, always being the one to point out how people are being unfairly treated, you are the one who sees injustice in every random act, step back a little bit and say, why is my lens this colored? Because the person with jaundice sees the world as yellow. The world is not really yellow. It's just that thing. It's just that thing on your lens. You have to take care of it. Just go do that work. So it's not really just about whether they're high performers or low performers, though many times I find this interesting relationship of extremes. Listen up and confirm if you know it. I find that many toxic team members are either extremely high performing or mediocres, persistent mediocres, or very brilliant. Because it's often a case of this inferiority complex or this superiority complex. Many times. So let's explore it very quickly. Their work ethic. If you find a healthy team member, they're self-motivated, they're consistent, and they're very quality focused. A toxic team member is inconsistent. Let me tell you my biggest stressor with toxic people. It's actually not that they're not excellent. It's that you can't predict their output. The meaning of mediocrity is that you cannot predict their output. Sometimes they'll blow your mind. Remember, there are times they'll send things in, and that's what confuses leaders. Then you'll be like, there's hope. Maybe this person is getting better. And that's why you keep them again. You make up your mind that they have to go. Then they blow your mind again, you keep them. Then they get back into that unpredictable state. They are inconsistent. They're very reactive. They are driven by supervision or threat. And this is why toxic team members can make leaders toxic. Because you are now having to manufacture strategies to say, if you don't do this by this time, and you never had to do that, when you are being at your best. Right? I have to run. A healthy team member owns results, admits errors quickly, takes corrective action. A toxic team member will deflect the blame. They will hide the mistakes. They will play the victim. I didn't have this resource. It was because I got this feedback late. When I was working on it, an elephant crossed the road and a lion gave birth while the sun was shining. It's just always one fresh thing or the other. No matter how excellent a person is, when they always have to defend themselves with me as their leader, it sets me off. Especially when I always already commend you. When I call you out, please don't tell me that the POP of your home was falling no, just listen up and please make the change. It's toxicity to always feel the need to defend. Collaboration. When we're healthy, we share information, we build trust, we support our colleagues, we're open, we want to help. When we're toxic, we play indirect games. We act like we will help, but we do it only when everybody's there. No worries. Azane, just buzz me after this call. Let's do this together. I got you. Then you buzz and buzz and buzz, but you now don't want to be the toxic one who goes back to a team meeting to say, but you didn't respond. You see, and you don't want to be irresponsible, and they play all these games. Passive aggressive or actively volatile. Reliability. This is the biggest for me. Please just know. After work ethic, the next big thing you should watch out for with people who say they want to build with you is they have to keep their part of the bargain. I'm already such a hard worker that I can't deal with people who don't keep their part of the bargain. How am I following up with you when I'm the higher authority here? I don't get it. You don't follow up with me, and are we joking? You ought to follow up with me. And then I get my part done, then I'm checking on you. I don't want to shout. I maintain steeze up until this point. No, please, meet your deadlines. I always say, if you tell me what's wrong, after I ask you, it's an excuse. If you bring up the challenge before I ask, it's a reason. Please just meet your deadlines, please. And if something comes up, let's talk about it. So, but by the time you are asked is when you're now like, oh, I'm so sorry, my laptop and my grandmother's firstborn called me from the yonder. My daughter is sick, we're on the way to the hospital. Don't do that. Be responsible. So if I give a hard feedback when you say your daughter is sick, I look like the toxic boss. But that's not the full story. You are the toxic employee here. They'll miss deadlines, they'll blame others, they'll give you excuses. That's toxicity. Right? A toxic team member resists change. Notice this. And as a small business owner or an evolving visionary, please watch out for this. Because as an evolving visionary, even in ministry, you don't have all the answers. So if I say that we are dancing to this tune, and I come back and I say we're in the midst of a pivot, of course, that shouldn't happen so often that it distresses stability. But if I come back and I say we're now in the midst of a pivot, please do not go around grumbling and saying, I was working on a project. I'm the project manager. Now they're telling me that we're not doing, are you going to be here? Do you want to build? Or are you happy to have a send forth party? You see? So change orientation also shows you who will build with you for the long term. And finally, let's talk about this one because, yeah, it's always there. A toxic team member in the face of conflict will spread negative information or spread negative energy. They're not going to stop talking about it. They like drama. Toxic people like drama, stigma, and trauma. They love it. It's their feel. It's their world. Did you see what they said when they said they are the ones who are having a private Zoom chat in the midst of a larger Zoom meeting? They are the ones who are writing into DMs. They're just like, Rachel, did you hear what they just said? I'm the one they're talking about. Can you believe, that's their way. That's their thing. Don't be that person and don't listen to them. Don't encourage them. It's toxic. They're the ones who do that. They are the ones who are, screen recording so they can send it on WhatsApp to someone. Don't do this. It's toxic. It is. Okay? You know any toxic person? I'm not going to ask, have you ever practiced any of this? Look, I'm going to save you and I will not dishonor your credibility. You just tell me if you know someone who's been in that space, right? Or monitoring spirits. They won't say a lot on your WhatsApp groups. They'll screenshot what others say and go misrepresent it. It's toxic. And these are strategies that I'm sharing for navigating it, okay? There are 3 things I want to highlight because we have to now move on into our fireside chat. You have this resource, I'll share it with you. But the first is, I want you to be bolder. One of my highest fascinations as a leader, and what makes me spotlight a person as a leader, is those who don't maintain silence in the face of dishonoring practices. I don't only shift and separate myself from toxic people, but also from people who witness toxicity and maintain silence. Honestly, I'm not a person of a lot of words in many groups, but if I see nonsense behavior, be sure that I'm going to have a private conversation. If it persists, I will establish my loyalty to the person for whom I'm in that group. I will do that. I will do that. It will take a lot of wisdom. Sometimes I may not narrate what is at hand, but I will alert them to something they have to be careful about. So silence is consent. If you have influence, please use influence. You see, document conversations when you're dealing with these people. And then if you're a leader, convert toxic practices to teaching moments. Don't call out publicly, but teach what we stand for. Teach it. Give examples that resonate without calling names. But 100% say, if we're in this kind of situation, we don't agree to behave this way. Teach it. It definitely matters. Okay? Those are my thoughts. Of course, we'll bring you into VLC and we'll keep expanding this fantastic conversation. If you leave it to me, I dare say that if you don't come to VLC, are you toxic or are you the tonic, please? Permit me to just ask, please. Okay? So to close out, let me just run you through the gold standard to pull everything in for you quickly, and I will leave that resource for you. And guess what? I'm also going to give you a toxic scorecard assessment. Do I love you or do I love you? You're going to have an assessment right on the heel of this intensive so that you go home and say, DDK, you were hitting me from side and center, but I want to be sure how we really do. Okay? But these are 10 defining elements of the gold standard. You want to build a system that is healthy in ministry, in your business, in career, even in marriage, family life, in your relationships with girlfriends and sisters and brothers, right? This is the gold standard. These are the 10 elements, and you get a chance to sort of rate yourself in terms of how you're doing across these critical elements, okay? But you will get ready for me to actually run just a simple score. You put all the 10 elements, our team will put the 10 elements up, you copy it and put your scoring before we go to the fireside. So before I share the gold standard, confirm to me you will do the scoring. Are you going to do scoring? You will, sure. Good job. Okay, let's get right into it now. Let's get right into it, okay? The gold standard. Take this with you. Take this with you. Carry it, insist on it, start to build it. There is a generation of leaders emerging who will make toxicity extinct. Imagine making toxic extinct. And I'm part of that generation. I'll never break the spirit of the people who build with me. I will not merely consume human well-being, I will create human well-being. The environments within which my people work will also be the spaces where their talent is developed, their purpose is fine-tuned, their vision is clarified, their confidence is built, and their identity is forged. That's the kind of leader I will always be. I will always be etched in the memory of those who stand with me as the one leader who gave them a vision of who they could become. It would not only be about my success, it will be about my significance in shaping humanity that is God-honoring. We will embody kingdom in a way that makes God look good. We're going to make kingdom be cool, the new cool. That's what I'm building. That's what I desire. That's what I'm working on. And it's not a proclamation of perfection. It's a proclamation of progress. And I'm so thankful that I'm well on my way. I'm well on my way and very pleased to be well on my way across my institutions. And I'm hopeful for even better days as we go along. Let's look at the gold standard. And I think that my closing remarks before getting into the gold standards is, I feel like if I could build institutions that are driven for performance, but also become safe spaces for beautiful relationships, identity forging, and purpose, you can. And what I mean is the struggle of so many leaders is always the extreme of being high performing, but not humane, or being sugary nice and not able to hold people to high standards. I find that the middle point is actually the perfect example of the kingdom. You have to be able to love people, to lift them into their best. You can't have one and not the other. You see this? So I dare say that there's a dimension of toxicity that I didn't focus on today. It's the toxic of sugary. It's a different kind. Leaders who don't give genuine feedback, leaders who bandy with the people against senior leadership. Have you met managers who will say, we're all managing the CEO. His own is too much. They bandy, yet they get paid to be stewards of culture. So there's that whole side. Leaders who are pretentious, leaders who permit mediocrity because they themselves cannot uphold higher standards. You see this? Leaders who want to be liked so bad that they just create they live a culture that becomes a trail of the death of dreams for their senior leaders. That is so unsafe as well. You see? So let's get into it really quickly. The first is respect and psychological safety. You want to build a healthy system, respect and psychological safety. People have to feel seen, heard, and safe to express their ideas or their concerns without fear. People have to feel respected. They have to be treated first as humans. You see, just wear that cap permanently. Even when you're dealing with an intern, deal with them as though you were dealing with a contemporary within, a boardroom. How would you speak? You see this. So psychological safety and respect. Fairness and equity. A transparent system. This is a lot more difficult than you think it is. And the reason is because a leader naturally gravitates in the direction of high performers who keep their commitment to the vision. That is natural. A healthy system, is more prone to seek to reward the highest contributors. But you have to find a way to ensure that while rewarding your highest contributors, you don't punish your low performance. So you have to go and look at your reward system again so that you don't keep low performers lounging while earning what their performance don't deserve. That's why some institutions use base salary, where everybody has a base and it's about 30% of your total. And then there's a whole 70% that is performance-based. So the more you perform, the higher you can earn, you see. So fairness and equity. Accountability and ethical conduct, big deal, right? So everyone owns the outcomes and upholds integrity. Everyone, every single one. If this is my part of the work, even though I'm DDK, I still must do my part of the work. You see, so the moment we agree what the standards are, regardless of who you are, we can uphold that standard. We can hold you to that standard. And that ethical consistency begins to shape for you the kind of system you would come to love. At number 4, clarity and work sustainability. Again, this is a space that can be difficult, especially if you have a small team. But the goal here is to create a lot of clarity around what each person has to do, and also to create the kind of work that doesn't break the back of people. Now, it's also a tough pillar because from leadership standpoint, you may create work that you believe matches the level a staff is, but a staff may say that this work is too much for me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You can say this is intern grade work. This is analyst grade work. At the level of a manager, this is what you should be able to deliver in a month. But the manager says, do you want to kill me? I can't. You know, there is that, right? The other thing I can tell you, because that's what we have experienced, is that we are finding that because of the fluidity of the world of work, people are taking many more roles within the same bandwidth of limited work hours. And, you know, they come to work with you, but that person is also virtual assistant for someone else. And they're also project manager for a volunteer thing they're doing. And they're also the head of a ministry that they're part of. And they're also an associate pastor. So when they say this work is too much for me, they have forgotten that, well, it's just that the work that has been apportioned for you would have been sufficient for you if you weren't doing 7 other things. But you're doing 7 other things. But you're looking at your leader and thinking, well, you also do 7 other things, but I'm not complaining. You are the one who's complaining. I'm getting my part of the work done. You see this? So these are new conversations we intend to have going forward in our own institutions, that we now require both employment disclosure and a minimum number of available hours for team members who want to build with us. So that you're not thinking that our wala is too much, whereas what we've asked of you is appropriate for where you are and what the role you come to play within our institution requires. So these are just sensitive spaces, but you must make sure that work is clear. And then the demands are sustainable in a way that honors people's unique realities and their own limits as well. At number 5 is communication and transparency. That flow of information. I find that I constantly have to navigate this because, to be honest, as a leader, as a senior leader, my model sometimes is to prioritize the next set of senior leaders within our institution, providing direct coaching and mentorship, and working with them in performance-driven systems that allow them report on the work while they actively engage with the other cadres within our institutions. And then I will turn up according to time intervals to guide the team. But I'm learning that if you are too distant from the mainstream, you may miss culture shifts. within the institution that you're building, that is named after your brand. So you can't be too far. You want to give leaders autonomy, but you want to be sufficiently present as well. So it's, again, a sensitive space that you have to manage. There is executive communication that has to come from you. There is culture shaping communication that has to come directly from you. There are decisions that have to be made by you and explained by you, and then cascaded across different levels within the institution. Now, I'm talking from leadership point of view because it is the leaders who drive or who curate healthy systems, and then they are vanguarded and championed by everyone within the institution. Number 6, recognition, growth, and development. I know this one is very big and can be a major game changer for your systems. People have to be celebrated for their contributions, and it takes a high level of security. As a leader, I have people reaching me and saying, are you not afraid how you put this person as the face of your institution? You're always calling their name. Afraid of what? Afraid of what? Dr. Sean Newton of VCAP, Akoswa of VCAP, DTB of IHA. Go ahead and fly, thrive, succeed, do big things. You see this. So you have to create a system where people can own a part of the work, ideate their own solutions, and you name it after them. This one was given to us by this person. This improvement was made by this person. And you also have to grow your people through coaching, mentorship, and providing opportunities that stretch them, right? If a person resists an opportunity to be stretched, they are resisting an opportunity to experience the future with you. And you always have to watch out for this. Okay, number 7, voice, inclusion, and influence. This one, here's what I'll say to you. If you don't hire right, or if you're not actively a part of your recruitment process, and you open your system to every voice, you're going to get into trouble. Yes. And then if you are in a system that is open and free to everyone to join, like a ministry, then you have to create a council of counsel, a council of counsel. And that would now be those who can say what needs to be said and not everyone. If you're listening to everyone without those boundary lines, you will still get into toxicity. So you definitely have to be careful here. But this is about being open to diverse perspectives. Okay, number 8 is collaboration and trust, right? You have to build systems where people enjoy working together even when you're not there. You have to reward teamwork. You have to celebrate teamwork, and you have to create projects that are unachievable without teamwork. You have to bandy people together for them to, and people will resist this sometimes, like, oh, I wish I was working on this alone. But no, you're working on it together. This is going to be delivered by the team. Distribute it. It's in your favor, or else you will build key man risks. And you would also have value exodus. When people leave, they will leave with collateral value that cannot be recreated when they have left. Okay? Number 9, leadership, integrity, and trust. Simply put, if you want something to happen in your system, within your culture, within your organization, leave it out. If you consistently violate a value that you pronounce, let me say it in my alliteration style. If you violate a value that you voice, then you're not ready for real institutioning. You see, you have to ensure that whatever values you voice, you also have to model it and you have to leave it out. That really, really matters. You have to be a person that others can look up to. And that is not for the institution. It's for you. You have to be a person that you love, you are proud of, you can live with, you see, and it gradually starts to elevate the standards within your institutions or ministries or environments. And number 10 is emotional and relational health, right? And the way I find this to work, to be honest, is that cultures and systems sort of soak the innate personality of its leaders. So you have to balance yourself out. You see, I am high energy, high performance, high standards, high authority, high dedication, So when I started to ask, what kind of energy do I want? I don't just want that high energy, high performance, I want camaraderie. I want enjoyment. I want playfulness. I want fun. I want, enjoyment. I want joy. So I began to model those, and I began to look out for that in leaders who were frontliners within our institution. So Dr. Newton, for example, is definitely sweeter than I am. She's a woman, smiles, and, so when I've gotten into the meeting and I'm like, okay, this is where we're going, and I love you guys so much, and I'm proud of you. She's going to be like, yes, we can do this. We love you. So good job. Now take that energy, go into your team meetings. You make it work. You see. So you have to ask, what do we want? And then you infiltrate the system with that, not only by what you model, but by the leaders who frontline that vision. You see this. This has been beautiful. I am checking to know if Dr. Abiola is with us. Yay! I'm too excited. Now, look, guys, if you heard me speaking and you're just like, this gist is plenty, and how are we going to succeed with all this hard work? The kind of conversations that are now going to happen are going to just bring it home. Dr. Abiola is the G for this kind of conversations. But let me know, has this been good for you? And let's now put all the 10 elements in the chat, and let's do our rating very quickly. Okay, I hear it's been fantastic. Okay, my team, share with me the 10 elements. Let's put it in the chats, and we get on into our fireside, which is, I'm telling you, the sweetest part of what we've had going today. Okay, put all 10 elements for me so that we can copy and rate ourselves. Brilliant, insightful. How's it going on YouTube? Okay, the numbers are even greater on YouTube. This has been good. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I love it. IMMERSE has put the elements of the gold standard on YouTube, but we're waiting for it on Zoom. Did someone go to Cook Bins? When do we have these elements shared, please? Okay. There you go. Thank you, Anuluapo, for sharing it. So just copy that and put your rating on it if you're a leader on the call, okay? And you're already intentionally building a healthy culture, a healthy system, whether with ministry or family life or career, business. Let's do that rating. We now have it on the screen, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and close this out so that we can get right into Fireside. Alrighty, this has been very good. I've had a lovely, lovely, lovely time. Thoroughly enjoyed myself, and I'm looking for Dr. Abiola. He's in the room. What you must know is that Dr. Abiola Salami is actually my brother. Let me add myself. And he is the one person with whom I have done, I used to have my yearly goal setting and visioning for so many years. from as far back as what? Maybe 10 years ago or more?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. More.
more. More, I'm telling you. And he won't let me go easily. If I share a goal, he'll be like, how are you getting that done? And why? Why are the numbers so low? And in my mind, I'm thinking, what? Are these numbers low? I thought I'm already exceeding myself. So it's a definite joy to be here with my brother. And he's very respected as a culture architect, a peak performance expert, a workplace systems builder, and continues to provide advisory for C-suite executive leaders. Please accept my condolence on the passing of Dr. Christopher Kolade, who I know is your dad. And I pray that God continues to strengthen you as you now enforce his legacy, as you've done for many years, but surely at a different level now after he's passed.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. I was wondering, while we're having this fireside chat, as I was listening to all the insights we're sharing about toxicity, I mean, you've exhausted everything on how to identify it, how to take personal responsibility, those 10, the final 10 insights that you shared. I mean, just spot on. Just spot So, hello, ladies. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'm sure we're about to have a great time. I mean, that's my sister there. We'll just be just two siblings having a conversation. I guess that's what we'll be about. So thank you. I'm seeing all the love from everybody. I'm seeing some names that I know. I greet everybody. And this is huge, man. DDK, this is huge. I'm seeing 503, participants on this call. This is huge. Thank you. For the remarkable difference you are
we
making.
have way more on YouTube. So please make sure you hail our YouTube audience as well.
Okay, YouTube audience, a hello. I'm told that we have a lot more. A hello. Well, YouTube, the Zoom room, everybody, wherever you are tuning in from, thank you for being part of this. And DDK, very well done. Very well done on this. You are doing a remarkable work. You're building systems, you're building institutions, you're building generations, with this. And with more platforms like this, and every one of us practicing what we are obtaining from this platform, we will really, truly transform, not just the continent, but we'll really, truly transform our world. So thank you to everyone, for doing this and for implementing this critical. So, thank you.
My pleasure. So we have some ratings that have come through, and I just wanted to commend each of you for the grounds you've covered. We have some ratings like 9 for respect and psychological safety, fairness and equity at 8, accountability at 8. I mean, it's just really mind-blowing. We have fairness on a 10 for someone, recognition, growth, and development on an 8. So it's just about the caliber of leaders that we have, Dr. Abiola. Like, they're putting in the work. We've got people on this call who have been with us at every Visionary Leadership Conference since we started. The first 2 have registered for the 3rd, have been in our memberships, high-ticket leadership retreats. I think my first question is for people who are already acing their leadership, who are making the important investments to build systems that work and want to empower the next generation. What are trip spots? What are our trip spots? What are spaces we could miss, though we're making all these investments and we're hard workers and we are ethical leaders? What would you say you are observing, because you're working with so many leaders and you would still love to say, hey, pay attention to this. You may not have your eyes on it, but it can make a big difference.
Great question. That's such a great question. The beginning of it is for us to know that no matter how well-intentioned that we are as leaders, our intention must match our actions. Yes, so you are intentional about learning, about growth, about doing all of this, because every one of us, we still have the limitation of humanity, because you are still human, right? You have the limitation where you have blind spots. So with the blind spots, there's the likelihood that your intention may not match your action. Now, you intended to engage this team member of yours and to give them feedback on what they could do better. That's your intention. But the way you actually now gave that feedback, you had a good intention, but not paying attention to your tone while you were at it. You were so passionate, so you just blotted it out. And, you're so passionate, so you're not paying attention to your tone. You are not paying attention to the words that you are using. You are not even paying attention to knowing that team member A is different from team member B. So how you would engage this person to give the same feedback on the people they are taking on a leadership journey for one person will not necessarily be the same with the other person. So that's one of the things I keep seeing. I see leaders who are well-intentioned. They invest in themselves, on improving themselves to provide the best of leadership and support to their team members. And there's the blind spots that that they have good intention, but the action may not necessarily match that intention. It shows in how they provide feedback. It also shows in how they think they are being firm, but it is not understood as firmness. It is understood as high-handedness. Now, this is not in any way excusing irresponsibility, in no way, but it's about understanding who it is that you're engaging with. And so I realized that confidence, firmness, all of those things, they're on a spectrum, right? Where you can't just describe one effort as confident when you are dealing with multiple people, where you need to know where the people that you are engaging with are. And the biggest solution to that is empathy. Empathy continues to say, seek first to understand before you are understood. And empathizing with your 10 team members, your 20 team members should be on an individual basis, not one size fits all, for everyone. So however well-intentioned you are, however the level of investment you are making in developing yourself, make room and know that you could still have blind spots that may not help your intention to match with your action.
I love it. I love it. And I love the utility of the word, the leadership blind spot, because all of leadership is really just even about awareness, about very deep self-awareness and being so in tuned to yourself that you can grow. I think that my second question is interesting and maybe a little controversial. I had a few people say something in the chat. I know by experience, consulting for Nigerian businesses. And it's not even just about small businesses. It's also about some very large institutions.
Yes.
It looks to me like there is a kind of aggression, intimidation, the use of power unfairly, and negative control that could be sometimes associated with businesses or institutions of African descent. It looks to me like there's something about our society, though we're communal and family-oriented and care for strangers, but it looks like there's something about people of African descent in our orientation and mindset that associates power with a punitive tool, to enforce judgment or to show people their level. Why do we see this thing that is toxic sort of running across Nigerian businesses sometimes? And how can we separate ourselves? Because sometimes toxicity looks to me it's almost a software running in the monster.
Okay.
Okay, looks like I'm back. Am I back?
Yes, you are back. You are back. Okay. So maybe what should give us comfort is to know that this is not about Africa, and this is not about people of African descent. I've had the privilege of serving people, Black, non-Black, in Africa, Europe, the US. And when we have limited exposure, it is easy for us to brand a human behavior as being cultural, or as being tribal, as being racial, even some as being religious. When we have limited exposure, the more exposure we have to the world and the more samples we collect, we realize that there are certain behaviors that are not about race and not about racist, sorry, not about tribe and co. It's just about how people deal with power. Most people, when they don't have the position of authority, you see the high sense of humility and decorum with them. But as they continue to grow in the marketplace, as they continue to have more opportunities, as they continue to listen to whispers from people that are commending them, how exceptional they are, how great they are, instead of them receiving that feedback, being grateful for it, and seeking how more to serve people to expand their influence purposefully, most people don't take that route. Most people allow their ego, to kick in, and then they need to show. In fact, they're not just showing their team members; they need to show that fellow that when they were in secondary school that told them they won't make it, in life, who is also making money, but is not making money on the level that they are making money. They will need to prove a point to the person that now that they have arrived. And some may not slap it in your face. Some may use passive aggressive means to let it known in the kind of questions they are asking people, just to be condescending, to make them feel bad. Many people on this call, in one way or the other, I'm sure they can relate with what I'm talking about, because you've probably seen it. Your former schoolmate, a former colleague. When you all started the career, it appeared that you were all on the same level, and for some reason, the person was on a fast track, and then the person is not on the same socioeconomic level, and the person needs to prove a point. So, while we don't have control over what anybody that is not on this program, for example, will do to us when they have those opportunities, it is important for us on this call to know that as success continues to come, the higher level of success continues to come, the more successful you become, the more humble you want to be. The more successful you become, the more investment you want to make in suppressing your ego. Because the more successful that you are, without necessarily thinking about it, there are things you say or do, you even say something and people can multiply it times 100. Remember, back to intention and action again. So the more successful you become, the more you're open to feedback. And let me tell you this, as you continue to grow, one of the things that will most likely happen to you is that people will not tell you the truth again. As you continue to grow, people want to tell you, you feel more lonely, but you have people around you who will be yes people. There will be yes people. They will be telling you this is the way to go. I don't know if anybody has heard the story of the naked king before, who some fashion designer, or they were not calling it fashion designer that time though, but let's use the word fashion designer today's palace. Some fashion designer brought something that is actually nothing and said that, oh, that this is the dress for the king. And the guy got to the place, was just drawing with his hand, that can everybody see this dress. He wasn't holding anything. So he was there with the king, his chiefs, his top advisors, they were all there. And then he asked them, so can you see this? Everybody said, yes. And then he handed over this nothing to the king and told the king that the king is looking so regal in this thing the king is wearing. And everyone on the team said, oh, yes, oh king, we've never seen you this handsome before. In fact, there has been no king on earth that has ever worn this kind of beautiful apparel, that you're wearing, whereas the king was wearing nothing. And then they went to the streets and they were singing and praising the king, that the best dressed king ever. And of course, the king was looking at himself. Based on the feedback he was receiving, he stopped believing what he could see by himself. Yes, the emperor's new clothes, that's it. He stopped believing what he could see by himself. He started believing what these advisors and professionals were saying to him, and at the end of the day, the king was naked. So, but that shouldn't happen to you. which is why it's important, which is why, but it can easily happen to you. Now, yours may not be nakedness in terms of physical nakedness, but could be nakedness of your area of improvement, which many people call weakness, right? So, it's important that we pay attention to this, even as leaders, and knowing that you don't have control as much again over what the other people are doing. Some of us might have read the book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. And that book, one of the critical lessons I took away from it was about circle of concern and circle of influence. Circle of concern, something that is affecting me that I have control over. Circle of influence, something that's affecting me that I have control over. Circle of concern, something affecting me that I have no control over. Every one of us, where we have power is where we have control. So it's to ask ourselves, as I continue to grow in this work, as I continue to learn and refine my leadership, and I'm boosting my performance, and that is leading to a fast track, that's leading to fast track in my career growth, it is important for me to know that I have a high tendency to abuse power without intending to abuse power. I have the high tendency to be condescending without intending to be condescending. So I need to be more conscious about self-reflection, about self-improvement, which is why as you continue to grow, you need to deepen your relationship with your coach to help you to see those blind spots so that you can always bring out the very best version of yourself every time. Okay, I can't see DDK again. While we're waiting for her to come back, anybody, if you have any question, okay, yes, she's back.
All righty, I'm back in. Thank you so much. So the emperor's new clothes. What were
Yes.
your concluding? I missed that. So maybe my own follow-on is, if you already acknowledge that as a person rises, they have lesser people who can tell them the truth, how does a leader create a culture and environment that allows people to give feedback?
Great question. It's about seeking trustworthy people, and not yes people, but trustworthy people. And the moment you note that somebody who was trustworthy is losing that grip of trust and is now becoming yes people, you can engage them in the conversation. If you don't see growth and improvement, fire them immediately. It doesn't matter who the person is. You fire them immediately, because what would happen, you see, I mean, I can't be telling the ladies on this call about what mirror does to you, what the help mirror gives, to make sure that you're looking pink, that you're looking, as beautiful as you always want to be. Because what you don't want to do is you want to ensure that the whoever is reflecting your true nature, whoever is reflecting to you your leadership skills, the person is giving you a true reflection of where you are and where you can be and where you can improve. Not just someone that is doing propaganda like a politician for you. You know that things are not well, but they are telling you things are well. And by the way, as you also continue on this leadership journey, you cannot be everywhere. You cannot see everything by yourself. You still need to rely on feedback from people. You need to rely on reports for some people. So trust is that ingredient. Trust is that ingredient. And they said that in God we trust, in others we verify. So you continue to verify, you continue to engage your team just to be sure that, yes, we are all still on the same page. Thank you. Somebody said no sugarcoating feedback, but while no sugarcoating feedback, it's also important we know how to give this feedback, that we don't give the feedback. If we say we don't want sugar, it doesn't mean we should now put bitter leaf, as well. Some easy way to give feedback that many people have recommended, they will say CRC, commend, recommend, commend. People have different ways they describe that. Commend, start with something of great value the person is bringing to the team. Recommendation, you focus on what can be done better instead of focusing on the error, and then of course you commend the person as well. So in as much as we're not sugarcoating, we're not aggressively giving feedback at the same time, and we're not passive about this feedback, we are assertive in our engagement. We're firm, we're friendly, we address the issue, we make it about the behavior, not about the person, and then We just make sure that we continue to monitor growth as leaders. Okay. So, well, okay, yes. I've seen her again.
Okay. Dr. Abiola, I have 2 to 3 questions for you before
Yes.
we take the audience and start to pull this to a close. The next is really around employee performance. Can you hear me? Okay, fantastic.
Yes. Yeah.
So I find that one of the greatest stressors for team members and leaders is often around the need to walk through others to get to the shared purpose or the collective mission of the team.
Yeah.
And there are so many people who would criticize a leader, whether within a team, a ministry, or the owner of a business, and say that they are erratic, their use of power is unkind, they're intimidating and using force. But sometimes, and I shared this on the call, what we are observing, especially as I take a coaching and consulting standpoint, is that there are leaders who feel they are surrounded with saboteurs, people who use company resources to pursue personal misaligned missions of their own, will, intention, and desires, people who spread false information, derail the direction of the team, are difficult to work with, demonstrate a lack of commitment. How does a leader or a team member, especially when decisions can be made immediately to exit this kind of toxic team members, you see, how does a leader navigate managing their own leadership composure, moving toward getting results and maintaining high standards, without compromise, but not also being pulled into the low of dirty fights and harmful behavior when they're interacting with people like this? What have you found to work?
Great question, emotional intelligence. Because there are instances where team members who don't want to be accountable and take responsibility will always look for who else to blame for their low performance. And a leader that's not sensitive enough can be drawn into that. And then you are firefighting instead of strategy, instead of providing leadership. So what you want to do is, it is easy to identify it. Identification is not the problem. It is managing it. That's where the issue is. Managing it, that's where the issue is. There's something I fondly call, in local parlance, I call it mumu button. Mumu button is like a trigger. And then when this team member that is not taking responsibility tries to blame you as the leader, and then they may use some words, they may send a mail, depending on the kind of organization and the structure that you're on, they may do something, and the purpose of what they are doing is to trigger you to action, to trigger you to unproductive behavior. For some of them, so that they can have something they can screenshot and post on Twitter or on whichever social media and say that, oh, this is the kind of leader. Whereas they won't talk about their own irresponsibility, their own irresponsible behavior. So what you want to do is you want to pay attention to your mumu button. What is it that triggers you to say or write some things? Is it what somebody will say to you or what somebody will do to you? There are some of us, when we see when anything that looks like, it's not mediocrity yet, anything that looks like mediocrity, as they are bringing it like this, immediately you just just smack. No, if that is who you know that you are, you want to pay attention to that in such that when this mediocre person is doing their own thing, you don't allow them to I hope everybody understands colloquial expressions. You don't allow them to pour sand into your gari. If you know what I mean by that, you don't allow them, to bring their own problem and their issues to affect your leadership negatively, so that somebody may now quote you somewhere that this is what you wrote or this is what you said. Now, you may not be a toxic leader, actually, but the pressure of non-performance, the magnitude of mediocrity around you may lead you to say some things or to or to write some things, and you can be adjudged as being toxic. So you want to pay attention to that. Now, what you can do as well, if you have the authority and depending on the structure of your organization, the earlier you can get the person out of your system, the better. Now, if you can't get the person out of the system, you can find ways to advise for the individual of those individuals to move to, maybe there's another team that they can work with, not your team. There's another team that you can carefully advise them to move to, so that this does not affect you negatively. So this is really critical because they can trigger you to behavior that could even cost you your own career. And as you continue to grow as a leader, we don't really demand your own individual performance. What we want you to do is to provide inspiration, is for you to create an environment to nurture people, to deliver the goods, so you're not the technical person. And part of creating that environment, you will find people who don't take personal responsibility. You will find them everywhere. I see somebody's asking, how about in ministry? You will find them in industry, you will find them in ministry, you find them everywhere. The fact that they are calling Jesus and then they can pray for the longest doesn't mean that their behavior is following Christ. As Christians, behave like Christ, think, talk like him. Doesn't necessarily mean, and we should not be deceived by that. We have a number of people like that. And in case what I'm saying sounds familiar, maybe it sounds like your name in a way or something, it's important that you pay attention to working on yourself, such that we don't call you the person that's not accountable, or the person that's not responsible, or the person that's not taking ownership. Your reputation, so far you're on this program, your reputation should be the one that takes ownership and deliver on results, and that is the exemplary leader that everybody should behave like.
Wow, this is good. I love it. I love the most the fact that you are saying it matters you recognize your own triggers. That's so powerful. Like, there are things that can irk you at a very different level. And you may want to just step back even from this call and say, okay, what is likely to just get my blood boiling, and how do I and prepare the way I want to respond to it or tackle it? I think that's powerful. My next question is around two things are merging, because you excel at both. You are providing a lot of advisory insights and resources on peak performance, and you're hosting conferences, giving awards around the same directions. You're touring the continent of Africa, and you're taking C-suite leaders with you, challenging them about, ways to lead from a place of rest and reset, while they're also mobilizing others for vision and performance. So I'm merging these two questions around what are you finding to work within small businesses to activate higher levels of performance? We have so many founders and visionaries on this call who may not be able to pay the highest within their industries, who have very small teams and are seeking to be resourceful, make the most of what they have to keep moving forward with their vision, but they're not getting the results they want. We have people on this call who live in other countries, they're visionaries in diaspora, and they are looking to, I'm waiting to come back. Am I back? Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Yes, yes.
And then we have visionaries in diaspora who are, in some cases, hiring virtual assistants, project assistants, interns, working with them from Nigeria. I can tell you that Africans in diaspora do that because it's cheaper human capital. But they're not getting results. They're saying, Didike, how do I pay someone $150, $200 every month? And they can't even type an email. Do you see this? So how do we change the game? How do I work with 5 young people, maybe 3 UCOM members, and 1 fresh graduate, but still move them toward productivity and performance without breaking their back? And how do founders sell a more compelling vision to people? Because sometimes it looks like they're there, but they're saying, I'm really looking for an old job, but I'm going to hang in here while I get my real deal. That's on one side as far as peak performance is concerned. On the other, which I'm seeking to merge, is, do conferences help? Do conferences have the power to upgrade the mindset, to elevate leadership competencies, and transform human capital, because we are known for conferences. Look, we have one coming up and we are beating our own chest because we know what we've cooked. We know the ingredients we put into it. But having said that, Africa is in its wildest knowledge era. Everybody has a podcast and webinars and conferences, yet we continue to be on the lowest percentile of the Global Human Capital Index. What do we do? Where are we going?
Okay. I will attempt to answer because it's two in one. In case I don't answer the second one, just nudge me, please. It is important for us to know that information is one thing, and there are different inventions we can create to disseminate information. Information is not power. Information is a critical ingredient. And there are many platforms we can use to disseminate information. The platform we are right now, we are disseminating information. It's a powerful platform. In coaching sessions, we get to disseminate information. Powerful. In conferences, we disseminate information. We are strategic, in designing it to make sure that it gives the best value. But the best of what we are doing at best is disseminating information. Information itself, it's not power. Same information, same knowledge. It's not power. Now, we have a lot of people that know knowledge is not power. It is the consistent application of that knowledge that transforms you from someone that knows to somebody that does consistently. So it now moves from knowledge to culture, right? Knowledge to culture. So we have a lot of knowledgeable people. We have a lot of people that are talking. We have a lot of people. All you need to do is to read one book and now be talking now. All you need to do is to watch one video and then be talking. By the way, a lot of things you said today, there are people on this call that can repeat it exactly as you have said it. They will even add some humor and add some other things that you did not add to it. They will say it very well. But that is best information, right? What makes it achieve the results we are looking for is that this information is taken and then the individuals practice it not once in a while, not when it is comfortable, not when they just hear about it, not when they are reminded, not when it feels good, not when there is something attached to it that they will gain, but that they practice it consistently. It is the consistency of that practice that now transforms them from who they used to be. I was blind, but now I can see. That now transforms them from the individual who's not taking responsibility to the person that they are celebrating, not just in the organization, but in the industry. It is that information, and it is not just that you take that information, you now go on LinkedIn and you write a long article about what you learned today from DDK. It is good to do that. It is okay to do that. But I will not even do that first. The first thing I will do is to lock up myself. Do that checklist. You listed some 10 things to round off this conversation, your conversation earlier, is look at those 10 things and see, where are my own gaps? Where are my areas of improvement on this? What can I do to invest in this? Who can be my accountability partner? My spouse, my friend, my colleague, my boss, my whoever can be my accountability partner that I sit with. See, I saw these 10 things. Out of these 10 things, I think I'm great at 3. But these other 7, I am not. So this is what I want to do so that I can pick them one after the other and improve myself. And I want to do this over the next 4 weeks, over the next 6 weeks, over the next 8 weeks. Do you mind if you and I have a call, maybe every Wednesday for 1 hour, so that I can tell you what I've done and what I plan to do, so that we can monitor my growth together? So information itself is nothing. It is the transformation through consistent practice that now makes you the kind of person. And by the way, the biggest thing we get from sessions like this, and from our sojourn in the marketplace, it's not the promotion, it's not the elevation. The biggest thing we get is the transformation that we get. So when you say you have 15 years experience, for example, it will mean nothing if all you are saying is you wake up from home and you go to this workplace and you come back every day, and then year one is counting 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, before you know it's gray hair. No, it will make sense if, as you are going to that place every day, you are taking one lesson, not that you are talking about it, you are transforming. That the people that worked with you last in January 2025, that there's a kind of person you were when you got into January 2025. Yeah, there was procrastination present. There was lack of good self-esteem. There were some things present, but between January 2025 and now, the people that you are working with, they see that you sound differently. Not because your confession is leading to your salvation and your maturation will be your inspiration. And no, not all of that. It is because of the maturity in how you are handling issues, how you are delivering the numbers, if that is the work that you're meant to do. That is what transformation is. Now, let me link it to the leaders that are recruiting people. What you say to the people you lead, whether you hire them virtually or you're working with them one-on-one, what you do is so loud that they can't hear what you are saying. What you do is so loud. Your investment in grooming and developing yourself. See, if you get information from DDK's program and you apply it to improve on yourself, the first set of people that will notice something has changed about their boss are the people you are working with. Wow. They will know that,
please,
yesterday.
Dr. Abiola, this is so heavy. Dr. Newton, please, are you observing some things have changed about me? Am I getting better? Because it's as though I think this is why I came to the conference or to this intensive. This hit me so powerfully. Please, are you saying yes, ma, under duress? Or for real? Okay, at least she's nodding, but I'm going to go back and ask all my team members. That is so powerful. If something changes in you as a leader, it's the people around you who should be able to say, wow. Under duress, it's serious, so I have to confirm. If she's just like, you are at my jugular, but no, Newton is not like that. She's actually more forthright than you would imagine. She gives very hard feedback. She'll be smiling. But please go ahead. That was powerful. That was a light bulb moment.
The ones that would say, she doesn't procrastinate again. No. They're the ones that would say, she now listens to us a bit more than before. They're the ones that would say, she doesn't criticize us. Instead, she shows us how to do. They're the first people. They're the first beneficiaries of your improvement. Your team members are the first beneficiaries of your improvement. Now, here's what I have seen with most team members. The more they watch their leader improve, the more challenged they are to self-improvement, especially when their leader is not telling them improve. Because what you do is so loud that they can't hear what you are saying. Let me give you an example. I have a gentleman on my team. When this when we started working together, the guy is passionate, he's great, he's a great guy, but he didn't have a sense of excellence, right? He didn't have a sense of excellence based on his exposure as at that time. Based on our work together, I remember one day I mentioned something that, I'm considering budget. So because of budget, I think we shouldn't use this facility. We should use this other facility. You know what the gentleman said? Sir, that's not who we are. Sir, that's not who we are. Now, this guy talking after 3 years of working, of which if I met that 3 years ago, that let us use this facility. So, okay, let's go. And I said, oh no, let's go this way. Sir, no, sir, that we will not use it. That is not who we are. What's changed? The consistency of seeing excellence over a period of time. So he has zeroed his mind that, you know what, this is not the way to go. This is the way to go. Many times, we like to point fingers team members pointing fingers at the leaders, leaders pointing fingers at the team members, but nobody's actually taking what. There are many leaders that their leadership approach is to say, see, I've paid my dues. I've been here for just drop the number of years, without realizing that you don't finish paying your dues. So far you have breath in your nostrils. Excellence is continuous. Growth is continuous. You can't say that you were punctual. So in my time, I used to be I get up before I no get up again with property. Say I used to be I arrived, no, it is what they are saying right now that you are doing that is the consistent thing. And what you
Dr.
say,
Abiola,
yes.
what did you just say, sir? I get them before I no get them again, no be property.
I know with property.
What does that mean?
It means that, I was punctual when I was on your level, right? I used to. It's not, you don't have it again. You don't have that skill again. You don't have that habit again. You don't have something that should inspire us again. When you call for a meeting, you should be the first to be at that meeting. Let me tell you this. I was in banking years ago. My managing director then, if he calls for a meeting by 6 a.m., no matter how early you arrive, you'll meet him in there. If it says 6 a.m., no matter how early you arrive, you will meet him in the room. So there is 30 minutes before time. So that's leadership by example. Not that you're having words in some 1 hour after the time he has set, because he's not telling you to come early. He is living it. He's the one living it, right? And so you can't say they're telling you to do what they are not doing. When they give you crazy targets, as we used to say at that time, they are always the first ones, pursuing it. So it's either you join the train or you miss the train. So it's important that even as leaders, we take personal responsibility. The excellence that we demand from people. They used to say, if you don't train them, don't blame them. But I will say that if you don't model it, don't expect it. If you don't model it, don't expect it. So you start by modeling it. And it's important. Some days ago, I wanted to have I went to the mainland for some project and I wanted to have a meal. And then I went on the websites and then I saw a meal that's quite affordable. I was attracted by the costs of it. So I said, oh, okay. I like the fact that, so with this amount, I can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Life is good. So I placed the order and then I was expecting my order and my order was delivered after some 30 minutes or thereabouts. It was delivered on time. The timing of delivery wasn't the problem. It was the content that was the problem, because part of the meal they brought for me was cold and spoiled. Cold and spoiled. That was the value for the money I was paying. That was the value for the money I was paying. Well, so I had to now pay what I was supposed to now pay for another meal, and the meal arrived. So what have I done? I wasted time because I wanted cheap. I wasted time because I wanted cheap. I wasted money because I wanted cheap. Thankfully, I did not consume it. I just tasted it to realize what it was, that it's bad food. If I had eaten a little bit, it might have also affected my health. Now, why did I cite that example? It's also our choice of the people we employ.
Sir, you are getting a bit, this is now a little bit too, I'm waiting for him. Can I be heard? Is my internet safe at this moment? I'm the one with the safe internet. What God cannot do does not.
Everything frozen.
Wow. We can hear you now, but you're still frozen. So hopefully it comes back. Yeah, exactly. Brenda says maybe God had to pause Dr. Abiola so that we can just hear what? No, I think it got too, I think everything escalated rather unexpectedly. We were having a friendly conversation, then it got brutal. What did he just say though? No, when he's back, I have an argument. Like, I think that almost 80% of human capital can be built. That's what I feel. I feel like many people can grow. Many people have the capacity to do better. You know, you can start off rough. Yes, many of us, that's how I feel. And I've met so many people who transformed, you know, Dr. Abiola, my body is, I'm warm, I'm warm. We were having a friendly conversation and everything shifted. You started to say another one. What do you mean the quality of the people we hire?
Well, you just said we should be having sibling conversation. So that it's just
What?
brother and sister. Well, just gist it now. It's just brother and sister, because the quality of people we hire matters.
Mm,
And by quality, I don't necessarily mean the person has 3 degrees and the person has schooled India abroad, all of those things. But about the behavior of the people,
mm,
the passion. You see, I don't care much what degrees you have and what school you attended. What I'm looking for is, do you have the commitment and the talent required, the skill? You have the skill and the commitment required. You can also say attitude, right? Knowledge, skill, attitude. Do you have that? Someone might have spent 10 years in the marketplace and they may not have the knowledge, skill, and especially attitude that is required. You see, even if you don't have the skill and you don't have the knowledge, but you have a great attitude, you can acquire the skill. Somebody said that the literature of the 21st century is not about people that can neither read nor write, but people that can all learn, relearn, and unlearn. So you have the attitude to learn, to acquire new skill, to position yourself to be innovative. Then we recruit you and we retain you. But many times, some of us were recruiting people that are looking for work, not people that are looking for how to contribute value. And it's not by what they say at the interview. Anybody can read anything and come and say, I'm here to, they mention the vision, the mission, they will say a lot of things. It's not about that. It's about what they consistently do. And there are many times, even when they show up, we're not paying attention to the way that they are doing the work. Let me give you another example. Some time ago, there was a lady that was working with us. She had worked with us on contract basis before, and so we'll bring her in when we needed to do anything. And she had a conversation with me about needing some money for some domestic issues. I said, well, I'm not rich enough yet, to give you this much money. But what I can provide for you is an opportunity to onboard you to work with us, consistently. With that, you can earn more than you were earning before, and then you can use this to sort yourself and what it is that you needed money for. And so we agreed to that. And along the line, I realized that this person's attitude is not helpful, to the extent that the person has now started influencing the people with great attitude on the team. You see, the thing with attitude is this: great attitude does not transform others as fast as bad attitude transforms
correct.
others.
Correct.
That's the thing with attitude. And many people with bad attitude, they are strong. When you hear strongholds in heavenly places, they are strongholds, and the way they can easily influence other people without those other people knowing it. I started observing that people that were punctual started coming late. No, I had a conversation. That with the fellow that, hold on, did you observe that it has never happened that we're organizing anything and I will arrive before you? Of course, I arrive before time, but the person arrives before me because this to make sure that they make everything ready, before I show up. I said that, but what has happened now is that I am arriving before you. Not just that I'm arriving before you, you even arrived late, later than the time we're supposed to start. course, the fellow explained that he had to wait for who? So I pulled the fellow aside to have a conversation with the person in a different room. And afterwards, we came out. Of course, I didn't talk to the chronic latecomer because I just knew that this thing cannot work. And somewhere along the line, the person knew that there's so much heat now in the kitchen that she cannot handle it. And the person said she was resigning. Okay. So it is important that we have the courage to engage. It is important that we seek out the right skills. You don't just put people because they are looking for work, or because you like them, or because they say they are your mentee, or because they have one certificate. One certificate they can go for one
Dr.
school.
Abiola, Dr. Abiola, that side, you went that side. Let me tell you, there's a whole industry that you can call the mentee industry. Many founders and visionaries are falling into the trap of the mentee industry. Available and submitted does not equal to competent and a fellow builder.
But do you know why those founders are going for this mentee industry? It's also because they are looking for cheap labor. See, let me tell you this. I posted something about my mentor when he died, Dr. Christopher Collade. He died last week. I posted something. One of the things I said about him is that many people try to sell mentorship to me as a means of achieving their own end so that they reduce their overhead, right? But his own mentorship was about adding value to me, not about giving me a facade that he wants to add value to me, whereas he's using me to achieve his goal. So it's a case of the founder wants to use the mentee wants to use the founder, they want to use each other. And so, of course, two manipulative people met themselves.
You're really being loud. You are being loud. You are being loud. And we thank God you are in a gentle community. If you were in another community, you're too savage. People can just gather in a corner.
Well, it's just brothers. We're just having siblings talk. We're just, it's just you and I talking, and then, of course, all the amazing ladies in the room, supporting us with their, that's all we're talking about. So the thing is, if we are really serious about what we are doing and what we are building, we will know that it is about our organization adding value to people, really truly caring about growth, really truly demanding performance from them when they are not using their initiative, really supporting them to let them see. And when somebody has convinced us beyond every reasonable doubt that they are not a good fit for what we have, then we can advise them to continue their aspiration and all they are pursuing in other places. Another thing for founders is run lean. You don't need to have 10 people, 20 people. What exactly are they doing? The leaner, the more effective that you are. You don't want to just increase your overhead for nothing's sake. You don't want to keep people that you can't even pay, and then you're unable to meet up, with your own side of the bargain, and then you are owing people 3 months, 4 months. No, you don't want to do that. So what's the size of your team? So, well, actually, by the grace of God, in our organization, when we started, 3 of us started, but right now, we have a manpower of 120 people. It's just God that is doing it. You don't need to. Nobody cares about that. What we are looking for is results. Whatever business you say you are doing, this Ikpekere that you are selling, can you make it crunchy? Can you make it faster? Can you distribute it? That's all. This coaching business we are doing, can you solve our problem as an organization? We don't need crowd. You don't need, it's not a crowd business right now, but and you need to work with more people. Of course, don't just look for crowd. Look for competent people that can get the job done. People that have the attitude to deliver on it. Please, I think I need to stop here before DDK will tell me that I'm doing
so good. This has been violent, but I mean, it's out there. Everybody knows who you are now. You call it a family meeting with a sprinkle of violence is acceptable. But this has been good, and we have to close, though we have had such a rich conversation with the one, the only, Dr. Abiola Salami. 100% I have been enriched personally, and I always look out for that. I always want to also receive my own insights that I can run with, and it's done just that for me. I will put you back in the hands of our host in a moment. I'll be out of here shortly. You've done well again, getting into the intensive and share and spending time with us. I know the link to the conference will come up again, and I think the team may have some good news for you. But I am challenging you not only to get into Visionary Leadership Conference 2025, but to take the intensive, to take the replay, and build out an action plan for your growth and transformation. If you were leaving us with a quote, Dr. Salami, what would it be this evening?
Well, know that what everybody around you, what they see you do, is so loud that they cannot hear whatever you are saying. And please, this thing about visibility, and then we're all posting things, up and down. It is not just about the impression that you create for people. It's about the authenticity of who you are, what you consistently do when the light is not on, what you consistently do when there's no platform to post on social media, what you do where you are, that those who know you, who you work with, can attest and say, this is who you are. So it is less of talking. It is more of doing, not once in a while, but doing it consistently.
There you have it. With the table shaker, violence bringing, insight shaping, vision mastering, life transforming, mind shifting, Dr. Abiola Salami. 100% this has been good. I know you were making a sacrifice just to step into the conversation, and I honor you not only for your wisdom, but for embodying for many years the things that you have brought to us this evening. Thank you so kindly. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ladies, bye-bye. Hopefully I'll see you guys on 20.
From the 23rd to the 25th, but we'll see you on the 25th.
Sure. I'll see you there. Thank you.
Alrighty. I'm putting you in the hands of Dr. Newton as we go this precious evening. I'm full, I'm enlightened, I'm inspired, and I feel worthy of the investment of both the intensive and the conference. I know Dr. Newton will ask you the important question of what you're taking away, and I'll be reading that. But thank you for this evening.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much, DDK and Dr. Salami. I'm like, what am I supposed to say after all of this? But thank you so much. This was rich. This was so rich. How are you feeling? There was table shaking, there was jugular breaking, there was wig removing, there was everything. And then now we are here what am I supposed to do after this intensive? But you know what you're supposed to do. So what are your highlights? What are your highlights from the coaching session that we had, learning about the toxic culture, toxic team leader and toxic team member, and then now having a real life, the experiences. It was really soft, but it was just soft and saying everything. So what are your highlights? What are your highlights? What are your highlights? For me, I think it's just the fact that your team would be the first beneficiary of your growth. And I'm like, oh, I'm taking that. And my team, they would see it, they would tell me. But that's for me. That's what I'm taking home with this, that I'm going to grow consistently. And I'm just hearing sagacity, consistency, everything was just coming together. So what are your highlights for tonight's intensive? I'm seeing from Grace said less of talking, more of doing. Or do I just say self-reflection, self-improvement, and consistency? Jennifer says living out my knowledge. And DK always says that it's not knowledge that you acquire, it's what you apply. And we are hoping that you take this intensive, which is the appetizer for next week, and you apply something, and they will see you for the full meal. We've cooked. Really, we've cooked for you, and we are hoping to see you there. Edemene says, my team will be my first beneficiary of my growth. Yes. My highlight from Oluwaseun Osho, be the leader you want to see in your team, lead by example. Busola says, knowledge transform with consistent application. Deborah says, my doing should be higher than my voice. Yes. And Idorain says, if you're not applying what you're learning, then you're not learning. And what you do as a leader is so loud that nobody can hear what you're saying. And we've heard everything. Just come again. Let's just do a quick recap. How many of us are going to be at the VLC next week? Like, raise your hand. I can already see. Raise your hands. Raise your hands. How many of you are going to apply as soon as we end this call? You know, when you're like, boom, and you're just going straight to the website. We would love to see you. We would love to host you. I can already see your hands. Oh, thank you very much for raising your hands. But we'd love to see you. Please know that 11:59 p.m. Monday, it is boom. Every other thing that you want to do would be by the replay, but would love to see you there. We would love to see you live from Thursday if you're going to be attending the pre-conference with Caroline Book. Buck. We will see you on Thursday. It's fully virtual on Thursday. We would love to see you on Friday. Me, I'm the shout out virtual gang. So you see me virtually every part of the way. But see, I'm sure that Lady Isaiah is going to be there in person. Lady Isaiah, yes, right? Coach E, I can vouch for her. Lady Bodam, DTB, see, she's already saying yes. So you're going to be meeting amazing people. And that's the part of the conferences. You learn, but you also meet people. So please, 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 we are the hosts. Okay, Coach E is already inviting you specially. Take Coach E's word for it that you're going to enjoy every bit of the conference. It's an amazing lineup, I'm telling you, from Thursday to Saturday, and we can't wait to see you there. So tag somebody that you want to, invite. Tag somebody you're going to be coming with. If you're going to be there in person on Saturday, say, I can't wait to see you on Saturday. And for me, I can't wait to see all of you on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, virtually. Oh yes, Thursdays are only for the premium. So if you paid for premium tickets, that's where you're going to be having the special session with Caroline Burke. But every other one, we see you on Thursday, we see you on Friday. So please do premium if you want. That's a very, that lady, I have my book here. She's the author of Epic. And you want to be in that room having serious conversations on female leadership. You can't wait to, guys, you don't want to miss that part. So please go pay for your premium ticket. Be there in person, be there virtually, be there holding somebody's hand. And I can't wait. I'm trying to see it though. Please tag them. What am I going to see on Zoom next week, please? What am I going to see? What am I going to see? What am I going to see? Well, thank you everyone for coming today. We hope okay. Hello, me. I can see all the me, but who will be there in person? Who will be there on Saturday in person? Please write there in person on Saturday so that you can already start forming the connections that you want to see. Please write it there. Write in person on Saturday. Okay. Esther is going to be there in person. Adema will be there in person. Okay. Virtually gang. Okay, virtual gang, Lady Lisa. Yes. In person. Okay, we can see it now. Thank you everyone for joining. Please don't end this night. Don't be the toxic person by not joining us on Saturday, on Friday, and on Thursday. But until then, so see you next week, and have a wonderful night, everyone. Bye for now, and bye from Germany.
Believe me as your pro coach. I'm not joking when I say to you, we are now in a time where you have to find the intersection between the drive for purpose, performance, and progress while still maintaining a passion for people. I know you know that, but the exciting thing is there's an actual heavily researched model that I would love to show you that covers self-leadership, team empowerment, and architecting cultures as well as institutions that can be built to last. I won't be teaching you alone. When you join me at the Visionary Leadership Conference 2025, I have for you a stunning lineup. Abubakar Suleiman is the Chief Executive Officer of Sterling Bank, which has been rated for 5 years in a row as one of the top 10 best places to work. We really want to know what Sterling Bank has going, and the CEO will show us. We have the MD of Cadbury PLC, the first female managing director, by the way, Yimika Adeboye, is also joining us. We have one of the top 10 strongest and most revered voices on women's leadership in corporate America, also delivering a keynote in the person of Caroline Buck-Lewis. that's not all. I'm still bringing you the heavily renowned and deeply respected leadership expert, Fela Durotoye, as well as a business coach, consultant, and leadership voice that is revered across the continent of Africa, Niyi Adesonya. Please use the link on the screen to register, and I look forward to welcome you. Thank you.
You have to decide for yourself, if I'm thinking legacy, if I'm thinking sustainability, if I'm thinking the long haul, what kind of corporate citizen will I be?
The time comes in the historical timeline of every generation that a certain caliber of people must arise.
Great to have these big dreams. But if you don't do the little things well to start, then the foundation that you're building or you don't build is going to come back and get you.
What are you doing with all the control when you don't have the money to back it up? So it's better for you to have the smaller portion of a bigger pie than have the bigger portion of a small pie that will remain small in one corner.
IMMERSE Coaching Company will host leaders like you to Visionary Leadership Conference 2025, and the theme this year is around human-centered leadership, building talents and empowering economies.